Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out, procrastination, putting it off, kicking the can down the road. In, plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out, carpet in the bathroom. Like, why? In, knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week, in Skamania, Washington, a bloodbath is discovered on New Year's Day, with bodies spread all over a rural home, and the one suspect is not exactly what they expected. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Wisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us and helping us celebrate the week here. Let's do this with the crazy stuff and yaying murders, and let's do it anyway. Well, I mean, life is hard, so you know what?
It's tough, yeah.
It's difficult, so
it's required.
We'll get into this. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you for everything that you've done for us. We do appreciate it. All your reviews, they help a lot, so keep those up. Thank you for those. Right away, though, got to tell you, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now. Get your tickets. We got so many live shows coming up. We have so many here. Next month, we're going to be in San Diego, sold out, I know. Yeah. I think Tempe might have a couple of tickets left. There's a Crime and Sports and a Small Town Murder on the same night. And we're also at the Brea Improv there. That has tickets left. And Portland, both shows sold out. One of the Seattle shows is sold out, but the one Seattle show still has tickets left. So there is an open Seattle show. Yeah. I believe it's the Thursday show has tickets left because we're there Thursday, Friday in Seattle. So
Seattle, Tempe.
Seattle, Tempe. Do it. Get on there. Figure it out. Buy tickets. And Nashville's sold out, and the other ones I think are sold out in the end of January, so we won't worry about those, and we'll get to that later. But get your tickets now. Also, patreon.com/crime and sports. So much good stuff there. This week, great things. If anybody $5 or above, you get access to all the shows, everything. like that. Yeah. Both shows, bonuses, and anything that we put out. For Crime and Sports bonus, which of course you'll have access to, we did the Christy Martin story. Yeah. If you don't know who she is, she was an amazing woman boxer who was just a hard-hitting, small little lady that could just knock the crap out of you. Yeah. Awesome. But her personal life was wild with her husband. It's very much lends itself to, if you like small town murder, you'll like this, because it's just this crazy little intricate thing. It ends with attempted murders, and it's really crazy. So listen to that. And then for Small Town Murders bonus episode, don't need much here. It is the Prisoner Dating Game, all violent felon edition.
You know what it means.
My goodness, was it a good one. This was top notch. No good choices. Jimmy might have picked the worst person we've talked about, by the way, as one of his picks.
Possible.
And we'll find out if he ended up trading that person in for what's behind door number 5. It was a wild game. Check it out. Patreon.com/crime and sports. And of course, because we're so thankful, you will also get a shout out at the end of the show. Jimmy's going to mispronounce your name while trying his best to pronounce it properly. And if you just want to get a shout out, you can do that over at PayPal and use our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. And also, just one more plug here. Want to go check, if you haven't done it yet, check out the guys at Game of Crimes on our network. That show is getting so good. I mean, it was always good, but they're really coming into their own, and it's great.
Podcasting is
Check
a tough
it out.
game, man. You got to know what you're doing, and they certainly do.
They came out of the gates hot, and then they're just getting better and better, and I'm really, really happy, and we're proud to present that show. So please check that show out. And on top of that, let's get into the disclaimer. Yeah. This is a comedy show. We're comedians. We're going to make jokes. And murder is going to happen. So that's also there. But what we do is, there's nothing funny about someone being horribly murdered. That's not where the jokes come from. The jokes come from everything around that. The idea that I think I can get away with this. That's pretty funny. If a bumbling police force totally screws up an investigation, there's some humor there in that. Hilarious. Some guy just going, I don't know, what did you expect from me? That's kind of funny. So that's the stuff we make jokes about. We go out of our way not to make fun of the victim or the victim's family.
Why?
Because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags. That's how that works. So if that sounds good to you, welcome aboard.
Solid deal, James.
If not, true crime and comedy never go together for you in your mind, and it's a horrible thing, then maybe we're not for you. But either way, don't complain later because we warned you. So
you've been told.
That said, you've been told. That said, I think it's time to sit back, clear the lungs, Jimmy, and shout, Shut up and give me murder! Hey, very nice. Let's do this, Jimmy.
Not bad. Let's go.
Let's go on a trip, shall we? What do you say? This week, we're going as far geographically as we can go from last week's episode.
Where was it?
We were in Florida last week, of course. In the Atlantic. We were, on the Atlantic coast on Florida, all the way there. This week we're going all the way clear across the country to Washington State. So can't be any farther away. We haven't been there in a while, and this is a wild story. So we're going to Skamania, Washington.
Hell yeah.
I think Skamania is how they say it locally, but it's Skamania. Skamania, brother. It never dies here.
Lots of horns.
Just horns. People running around. Don't even have an assignment in the band. You're like, where'd that guy come from? His job is to wear shorts and a sport coat and run around. Okay, that's
for no reason. Yeah.
He gets paid to do that. That's great. He puts on his taxes.
Yeah.
Sports and short coat, running guy, and then he turns it in. So Skamania.
Short coat.
Short coat. You know what I'm saying.
Jesus
Trash stick plastic bags, Jimmy.
Yeah,
it's all the same. So
Agent
Skamania
Orange plays their festival every year, don't they?
That's I think they're the town council, actually. I think it's just that. And
Me First and the Gimme Gimmes.
Yeah, and the guy from Mighty Mighty Boss Tones is the mayor.
Yeah.
I feel like he's like, everybody, I'd like to have an announcement. Everybody, and just horns kick in.
I liked Me First because they played just covers, James, in ska version.
Like
it was
bar
awesome.
band. That's fun, you know, in a bar type situation. People are drunk. They're like, I know, it's Anne Murray, but ska. Yeah, that's good stuff. It's different. But a lot of the stats and everything we're going to give you are from Stevenson, because Skamania is too small even to register as anything, and it's kind
It's
of
just one band.
It's just one band. It's butted right up against Stevenson, so they all kind of Skamania is the zip code, but they lump everything in with Stevenson. It's about 45.
I can't believe there's 2 towns in this country that have mania in the name.
Mania, that's what I'm like, and we found them with murders just randomly. I'm not looking for towns with mania in it, but we found Gore Mania and Ska Mania, brother. Ska Mania, brother. I'm going to smash him on the head with a trombone, and then we're going to go. I'm going to take the heavyweight title from him, brother. It's Ska Mania. So
it's crazy.
It's wild. 45 minutes to Portland, so it's down by there. It's just across the water from Portland. About 3 hours to Seattle, and about 4 hours and 20 minutes to Moses Lake, Washington, which was our last episode 206, which was why Charles Manson wasn't in Friends. And that was a great episode, so if you want to check that out. Also, this is in Skamania County, area code 509, 1.8 square miles, so a little area, this Stevenson. And the motto here is, this is pretty basic, I think they're trying to draw in a specific person here with nostalgia.
Yeah.
A quote, kind of looks like where the Goonies were from. I mean, I don't know. That's
a little bit. Yeah.
it's just what it looks like, honestly.
Okay.
There's like a fog hanging over. Everything looks damp.
Shirtless kid jiggling his belly.
Very, very damp. And I did see a deformed man running through the streets eating a baby root. So that's the footage I've seen.
Yeah.
History of this town. It is named for an early settler here, George H. Stevenson. And by the way, the Stevenson is the person in our story's name is Stevenson, and there's no relation. But he's Stevenson from Skamania inside Stevenson. It's very strange. The Stevenson family settled in the Gorge. That's what they call this area, the Gorge, in the 1800s from Missouri. So that was a rugged trek across the country.
You bet it was.
And founded the town of Stevenson on the old Shepherd donation land claim. So somebody had a land claim, and they did that. They did. It was Stevenson Land Company purchased the original town site, the whole town, $24,000.
Wow.
For Stevenson. That's wild. In 1893, and built a town along the lower flat near the river. And they, settlers expanded, and the dock expanded. They had steam things coming in, stern wheelers unloading passengers. Stern wheelers. I don't know what that is. In 1893, there was a dispute. I love these small town disputes. These are my favorite. A dispute over rental fees. And
historical arguments. Give
great.
It to me.
An unknown crew transported the county records, Jimmy. Again with the county records. What is it? These towns had obsession.
Who gives a shit?
They stole in the dark of night the county records from the town of Cascades and brought them to Stevenson, smuggled them in.
That's got to be documented, like who owns what, right? That's the only reason that anybody should give a fuck.
But it's just either way, it's written down no matter who's holding it. Who gives a shit? We all know it. It makes no sense. Stevenson became the county seat overnight because they had the records. Whoever has the records gets to be the county seat, and I don't know if you get more money. It's so strange.
Historical capture the flag.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. They're fighting over these. Well, we have the records now. Now we're the county seat. Well, good for you. That's great. What the fuck does that mean?
Team wins.
What does that mean for you? What does that get you? In 1908, the Spokane, Portland, and Seattle Railroad arrived, and that pushed the town up the hill away from the river. So they just kind of moved everything up the hill, which seemed to happen a lot back then. Just, we got to move the town, everybody. Okay. And everyone just agreed to it and did it. So streets were graded, wooden sidewalks were constructed, and the city asked residents to keep their cows from roaming in the streets. Let's not have cow shit everywhere.
Bullshit out here.
This is exactly none of it. The mills and logging camps were all over the place. There was like log flumes and all sorts of shit like that. Just logs. Everything's logs here. So they're figuring out. You ever been to an amusement park and there's a log flume? That's what they had for real. That's a real thing. That's not.
Yeah. I have heard that is what they used to do.
So they sent them.
Yeah.
So that rather than carry them,
some sort of it
was easier. Yeah, they'd have like a on a roller coaster where they up the thing, and then it would get in the water, and it would just fucking float to the destination. It'd be a guy taking logs off. Yeah. So it makes sense. Saloons everywhere at this point, because it's all logging lumberjacks who've come to the rugged West Coast here. It's barely a state.
They hurt.
Yeah, so
and they need something to numb it.
They're drinking until Prohibition happened, and then that kind of didn't help the town very much. And then they had a highway and a dam and all sorts of shit like that. The town moved further up the hill after that. So this is a twice moved town, and there was a flood there and everything like that. So the tourism website here, visit Stevenson, Washington, visit stevensonwa.com. This is how they describe it. With world-class kiteboarding, which I don't know what that is.
I've seen that. That's awesome.
What is it?
It's where you hold a kite and you stand on a board and the wind pulls you.
Oh, you don't fly.
No.
It's not like parasailing.
Well, I mean, if you go fast enough, you can.
But you're not like connected to a plane or anything. As I'm getting at, or they don't just throw you off a mountain and they're like, you're going to land in the water, hopefully.
It's not going to be that in the extreme sports thing.
Okay. Oh, that sounds fun then.
It's certainly very cool.
That sounds fun.
But there's no stick. So like on a parasail thing, you know what I mean? It's got a stick in the board. Kiteboarding doesn't have that. You're just like holding the kite. It's like
cross-country surfing.
Yeah, I guess. It's like skiing behind a boat, but there's no fucking boat. It's all the wind.
So it's like sailing and surfing mixed together with cross-country jogging.
I've seen that, and I think that's what this is. Okay. It may just be another thing where they kiteboard. You know what I mean? With like a sailboard.
Makes sense.
It may be another term for that. But I think it's holding a kite and standing on a waterboard.
Award-winning breweries and exquisite local fare. There are endless things to do once you arrive in Stevenson. I think there's probably a limit to what there is, actually. It's a small town. There's not endless.
Very definitive end.
And that's just in town. Staying in the Gorge HQ means you're only minutes away from hikes, wineries, waterfalls, scenic drives, fishing, golfing, and so much more, all capitalized. They're into it. Here's some reviews of this town. This is 3 stars, so... Not so great, but pretty damn great.
There was a limit to their things to do, and
it's at the 3rd star. That's the ceiling they're reaching. Beautiful, breathtaking views of mountains and the Columbia River. Abundant hiking, fishing, windsurfing, kiteboarding, sailboarding. Whoa! If we have a kiteboard and a sailboard now, it throws our whole thing.
I'm right. It's not connected. It has to be.
It's retired here 1 year ago because of hiking and water activities. The local community tends to be respectfully polite but cliquish, very conservative and unwelcoming of newcomers. And this is like an old person. Minimal access to health care and grocery shopping. Well, those are both things you need. Doctors and food if you're old.
Imperative, yeah.
That's good. Limited shopping comes at a premium price. With a recent cancer diagnosis, we are looking to relocate to a more friendly community with access to specialty health care. That's more to that exact person's specifications. Like that's, I don't know. Here's 5 stars. Now, they love the place. The town is very small, but it gives off the perfect small town vibe. They are obsessed with Bigfoot, so it has a little quirk, and everyone is super friendly. There is plenty of outdoor activities, and it isn't too far from Portland if you're looking for nightlife. Yeah. This county is the first, I think it's the only county that actually has a Bigfoot law. There's a Bigfoot law here. Yeah. No, I'm not. I shit you not, Jimmy.
What is the law?
There's a Bigfoot law.
It's only a season?
It's a law that, it's not really a law that says you can do this or you can't do this. It's a law warning all the citizens of morons that aren't from around there that will be traipsing through with high-powered rifles looking for Bigfoot. So watch out for that. It's essentially like a notice for the town, like a town... Hey, by the way, water's got some shit in it this week, so boil it first, and watch out for high-powered rifle morons from Tennessee who've come to fucking shoot Bigfoot.
Squatchers from Michigan are in town, so be careful.
Everyone on their alert here. So they actually have that.
There's got to be a season that it's like at its highest, right?
I'm sure there is. It's Bigfoot mating season. This is when Bigfoot gets hard and likes to fuck things. So you'll see him fucking trees and deer. He'll just be fuck. So that's how you catch him. You catch him when he's humping on something.
Hibernating for 3 months.
He's just
wakes
humping
up
on
with
something.
with a raging heart. You know how you wake up with a boner?
Tell you
Think
what.
about Bigfoot's 3 months,
man.
James. He slept.
Finds himself a grizzly and goes to town. So
if he can't find a squatch email.
Squatch. Here's one. Growing Up in the Gorge is the title of this review. And it says, we moved from Buffalo, New York to Stevenson, Washington when I was in 2nd grade. Big change. Timber used to fuel the economy. People had jobs and schools were funded with timber money. When I was around 10, some of the mills closed and the schools turned to state money for funding. Schools were not better off when that happened. When I was 18, the community turned to tourism and most of my high school friends work at local resorts. It's a beautiful place if you go visit. Go to the Walking Man Brewery and check out the Blues, Brews, and Barbecues Festival in June. And the Skamania County Fair is not worth it for out-of-town visitors unless you want to see the locals have their high school reunions.
Okay.
So there you go.
At the fair.
Hey, there he is. Oh, man, I ain't seen you since we failed science class together, buddy. What's happening?
I haven't seen that chick right there since I fingered her right there.
Yeah. In New York, where I have my place now, like if it's like around Thanksgiving, you have to avoid any place that sells alcohol because everyone that you went to high school with will be there, like guaranteed, because they're all home and I visited my folks. Oh, Jesus Christ, kill yourself. Look at you. You look terrible. Okay. So, and you can't tell people that you haven't seen, like in almost 25 years since they were in high school that you look great. None of them look great. Nobody looks as good as they did when they were.
You don't look the same. You had youth back then. You don't have it anymore.
Holy
You're a mess.
Sure lost your hair there pretty bad, didn't you? Wow, that went fast. So people in this town, population 1,627 in Stevenson, much less in Skamania, the town. 12,000 people in the entire county of Skamania. And so Skankamania, here we go. Yeah. Up 35% the population is since 2000. So people are coming here. It's become touristy. A couple more males than females. That's no big deal. Median age is a little older. It's normally 37 and a half. Here it's about 45. A lot of 45 to 64-year-old people.
Interesting.
So high school reunion age, we'll put it that way.
Yeah, people that give a shit about it still.
Yeah, married population. Now. Married population is lower than normal. It's only about 41%. Divorce rate is more than double the normal. So people, if they want to leave, they leave. Widow rate's almost double the normal. So they're going to kill you or divorce you, but they're getting out of that goddamn marriage, I'll tell you that. Single with no children, also higher than normal. So it's a weird place. You can party in. Race of this town, 90.2% white. So that's pretty white. 1.4% black, 1.4% Asian. I don't know if that's on purpose, if there's a quota. Yeah. If I'm sorry, black. Yeah. Listen here, black feller. You can come as long as you just find an Asian guy to move here too, and then it's all evened up, pal. Because that's
exactly the same. That's
it's a 1-for-1 in this town. 3.2% Hispanic. Religion in this town. This is the lowest I've ever seen. 17.3% religious, which is normally 50-50. Sure. That's 0 Baptists. Not a Baptist in the whole mix here. 5.8% Catholic. That seems to be the highest one. 0% Jewish, 0% Islam. Let's see here. The last election here, 43.7% voted Democrat, 53.1% voted Republican, and 3.2% independent, probably voted for Bigfoot, I would assume. I cast my vote for Squatch, and I didn't regret one goddamn minute of it. He ran a clean campaign.
Mr. Harry Henderson.
He said, I'm going to fuck me grizzly bears, and that's going to be my campaign. And I said, yep, that sounds
edible
good.
Corsages for all.
That's right. John, and we're going to make John Lithgow, we're going to put him on the money. That's the other thing. Because we're real partial to him. Unemployment in this town here is a little higher than the norm. It's about 6% right now. Here it's about 7.2%. Median household income is low here. A lot of the jobs are in tourist places, resorts, restaurants, things like that. Some Bigfoot money to be made. Yeah, Bigfoot knickknack booth. I don't know what the fuck's going on here. $35,500 is the median household income here, which is way lower. It's $57,000 normally. 26% of people here make under $15,000 a year. It's normally 9%, so that's like 3 times as many. I don't get that at all.
How do you?
That's waiting tables, man. That's tough. I've been there. That's rough.
$1,200 a month? That's not enough.
That's not even close to enough. So that's tough. The cost of living especially makes it tough. 100 is regular average. Here it is 114 out of 100, and the housing is a 135 out of 100. Median home costs $374,000.
That is staggering.
Yeah, when the median household income's $35,000, that's rough. I don't know how the hell you even survive that.
You would have to work 10 years, James, saving every dime you get, never pay taxes,
never eating,
never eat a thing of food, never
don't
drink
drive
anything,
or eat or
and
have
then
kids,
you can buy a house
or have any health insurance or really anything. Just save all your money and live in a cave, and then you can do it. That's wild. And if that sounds good to you, if you have a cave all picked out, we have for you the Skamania Washington Real Estate Report. 2-bedroom rental here, your average. So this isn't even a way to go. It's higher than the normal. It's $1,382. So
unbelievable.
That's expensive if you're going for that. Here's the housing. I found a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,334 square foot. This one, I believe, is actually in Skamania. This is actually in the town of Skamania, I think. The town is basically the Skamania General Store, and that's it. Right. That's the town, and a couple of houses. This house, it's linoleum and old cabinets and appliances and counters. It's a definite time capsule, this house.
Vintage, James.
If you consider 1989 vintage, then yes, this is vintage. And it's in the woods. This house is in the middle of nowhere, but it's not on a big lot at all. Okay. $279,000.
Oh my God.
And that's as cheap as you're getting. And they just cut the price $21,000 on that too. I found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,793 square feet.
Okay.
It's decent, but you're right on top of your next door neighbor. It's like there's some gravel between. It's like Phoenix. It looks like Phoenix, but with pine trees in the background.
Jump roof to roof.
It's so weird. It's like attempted small town tract housing is what it looks like. Yeah. Like they tried to do it with one neighborhood. It's all updated and new looking in there and everything. It's only on a half acre. $585,000 for that. My eyes almost started bleeding when I saw that. I was like, are you nuts? That's wild. Then I found a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,496 square feet.
Okay.
It's decent, good bones, needs some updating. The kitchen's clearly from 2004. It's got, black granite and the black, older appliances. Mm-hmm. And you can see when it was done here. It's on 34 acres, though.
Holy shit.
Which is pretty nice. $634,000 for that bad boy. So
that is not bad.
That's not bad considering the other one's $585 to be on half an acre and on top of somebody in a smaller house. So that's what some backsplash will do for you. Up your price. Things to do in this town. The Skamania County Fair and Timber Carnival.
Timber
Carnival.
Oh, boy.
It says, let the good times grow. It's on the site.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
This is like a boner festival.
You got it. It's all wood, baby.
Yeah.
The Skamania County Fair Board and Community Events Department would like to invite you to the Skamania County Fair and Timber Carnival. 50th anniversary of our Timber Carnival. We have new logs donated by SDS Lumber. New logs to look at. That sounds like a party.
Brand new ones.
Yeah, new rides, ! We've contracted with Rainier Amusements. This well-respected carnival will bring us an assortment of new rides. There's never been the words well-respected carnival put together. There's nothing respected about a carnival ever. There's never been. It's like, This band of rickety, dangerous rides run by meth addicts. Yes, this is very well respected. Come, please. This is terrific.
And they when they say new,
set up
they
in our
mean
grocery store parking lot, please.
It's the first time this Tilt-A-Whirl has been run at our carnival.
We're gonna give it a whirl, if you know what I mean, and see how it goes. 4-H animals will be in the barns, which include our market sale and fireworks Saturday night. So that's terrific. There's new logs, Jimmy. I mean, what more do you want there? And then also you can do and it says the Skamania Fair Board is looking for your preliminary market poultry order. To sign up, please go to the link below, and it says preliminary poultry order. So there's something to do with chickens and poultry involved in the fair.
Order your chickens right out of the gate.
Yeah, and there's also the Stevenson Poultry Classic Show. I don't know if it's like hot chickens or what, like chickens dressed like John Benet Ramsey or what the fuck's going on there, but welcome to Poultry Show. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
The chickens should have to be in some sort of chicken celebrity lookalike thing, and then you have to guess who's who.
Starts saying, Jimmy wants a chicken show.
Make a chicken strut over a fan in a long white dress.
That is gorgeous, Jimmy. I like the way your mind works.
Birthmark on its beak. little
looking over its shoulder suggestively back at the audience. So, go to that. Crime rate in this town, besides the weird sexual poultry show that goes on, the other crime, property crime in this town is a little bit high. It's about 15% high. Just probably a little methy here and there, I would assume. Violent crime, though, murder, rape, robbery, and assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, is low. It's about half the national average. So not bad at all. That said, this little safe town where they're have poultry shows and they get jacked up about new new logs.
Used rides.
We have new used rides, and look, there's new logs too to look at. We prop up the new rides with them. We put it underneath because it was a little crooked.
Those logs are not new. Those are hundreds of years old.
So many. We'll just bring in. Well, they won't know the difference. Logs are logs, right? So, that said, let us please talk about a murder. What do you say? Let's catch up with a family in late 1986. Okay. Just after Christmas 86, the week of New Year's, do that sort of thing. It's beautiful. Oh, you can feel the warmth, can't you? You just feel it. Everyone's thinking about getting out there with their new rifles they got for Christmas and hunting Bigfoot. They're just like, I'm going to be the one with this thing.
Cleaning it by candlelight.
It's going to be pretty. Chestnuts roasting by an open fire and Bigfoot fucking vivisected on your living room floor. It's going to be wonderful. What a romantic scene.
Field-dressed Bigfoot.
Field-dressed Bigfoot in my kitchen floor. Slaughtered reindeer in the yard. I killed a fat man with a beard in my chimney. I think he was here to rape my daughter. So, it's very romantic. So, late 86, let's catch up with this family. It is a family there is a stepfather and a mother, and then two children from that are the mother's children.
Got it. Blended family.
But there's no children from the stepfather in this mix. He has children, but they're grown.
His kids, her kids, our kids.
Our kids, yeah. But these are just her kids, our kids. So it's James Butler, number one, not the criminal boxer who we did an episode on. James Butler, who's 48 years old at this moment, and he's got his wife here, Margaret Butler, who is 35 years old.
Okay.
And she's been divorced for a while, has the two kids with her, got married to James, who has grown children as well.
Okay.
Now, and her the ex-husband, Margaret's ex-husband, lives in Long Beach, Washington, which is about 100 miles away from here. But she has custody of the kids, and the two kids are Amy Stevenson, who's 18 years old, and Sean Allen Stevenson, who's 16 years old.
Okay.
So these are the kids.
Late
teenagers. That's the family. From what I understand, there's not a lot of contention here. Everybody pretty much gets along. Nothing that, out of the ordinary of of a family with a
typical family with these
and even if it
late teenage life problems.
Exactly. I was going to say, I don't know, it's not even like a stepfather or anything like that. I feel like stepfather, real father, whoever's around, if you're 16 and 18, there's always going to be some kind of, bullshit going on, but it's nothing, there's nothing crazy going on is what I'm getting at. James and Margaret have been pretty happy since they've been married, but things have been going tough for James lately. Hasn't been going very well. And like I said, everybody gets along except for James and Sean. If anybody has any contention, it's James and Sean, which makes perfect sense. The dad and the stepson. He's 16.
Right.
This guy's going to try to tell him what to do. All of that stuff, is going to come up at that point. So this is nothing to be... This is one of those things that probably 20 years from now, you'll get along much better,
Right. But now when he talks to you, in your head, you're going, you're a fucking asshole. I don't care what you say to me. You can't tell me what to do. You're not my dad. Go fuck yourself.
Just because my mother likes to fuck you doesn't mean that I have to listen to you. Yeah,
right.
We've all been there. We've all had We've been there.
Her opening her cocksucker for you does not matter shit to me. I don't care about any of this.
We've, between us, one of us has probably said that phrase, as a matter of fact, directly to somebody. So
I certainly did in between my ears to my stepfather.
Cumulatively, we have plenty of these statements locked and loaded between us. So,
you know how many times I told that man, fuck you? In my head.
In your head, yeah. You like walk away.
Anytime he talked, I'm just going, fuck you.
You walk away and steal a video game from Sears.
While he's yelling at me, calling me a loser for stealing from Sears. In my head, I'm going, fuck you.
Yeah, he was right about that, though.
He was right.
That is pretty sad. That's pretty sad, Jimmy.
There's very little else he was right about, but that he was right about.
Imagine getting caught stealing from Sears today. They'd be like, "Why'd you?" They're going to throw everything out eventually in like a month. This place can't last long. What the hell are you stealing it for?
The confrontation with those guys was hilarious because they grabbed me and my stepbrother's shirts on the shoulder and they go, "Do you have anything that belongs to Sears?" And I was like, no. Looking back, I'm like, why didn't I just say yes? My brother said yes.
It's very Heaven's Gate. Do you have anything that belongs to the
My stepbrother
community?
just smiled at him and goes, yeah. And I was like, no.
No, what are you talking about?
My pockets are full of their shit right now.
So everybody gets along here, like we said, except the stepdad and the son, but they still do things together. They bicker and argue, but they're not like enemies. They still like hang out together. They still go hunting all the time together, and like, they just happen to have some contention, which is very normal. So that's not that bad of a relationship if they're still going hunting together. That's seems like a good relationship. And Sean is actually considered like a really good hunter. Everyone in town says like he's like a hunting prodigy. I don't know if there's a profession that you can
about his shot or like his tracking skills.
He's just good at it.
All encompassing.
They said he always ends up getting a deer even when no one else does. It's just he's
and he can find them.
If one person's getting a deer, it's going to be Sean. And it's since he was a little kid, he's just been good at it. And I guess if you started doing it when you're a little kid, well, he's training for Bigfoot. You gotta, you have to really practice. When Bigfoot comes at you, you can't hesitate. You got to be able to.
And James, when you come for the king, you better not miss.
That's what I'm saying. He's coming with that crown. You're going to see him coming. You better not miss.
Yeah.
So, also in this house, added to the mix, is Grandpa. Okay. Now, Grandpa, we got to talk about Grandpa in the house. Now, Grandpa is Margaret's mother or father.
Father, yeah.
He not his mother, not her mother. Anyway, he is older now and has recently had a stroke.
Oh, no.
This stroke has left him, to put it mildly, a little bonjour. He's a little out there. Upstairs. He's also can't speak. He's mute now. It's taken away his ability to speak, and he doesn't really know where he is a lot of the time.
Oh, God.
Strokes are fucking horrible, first of all. That's way scarier than anything else, because like if you have a heart attack, you'll either live and you can come back from it, you might be a little weak, or you'll die. A stroke is like anything from, hey, I barely noticed it, to my whole side of my body doesn't work, and, like it's a complete crapshoot, really, of what'll happen to you. So
it goes from I barely noticed it to me having to ask what the fuck happened.
Yeah, it's terrible. My mother had a stroke last year doing a stress test thing for a heart thing they thought she had that turned out to be nothing.
In the middle of the test?
Yeah, they had to do the test differently because of COVID protocols that she couldn't do the certain things, so they had to inject her with, I guess, more adrenaline was part of it, and it gave her a stroke. So, yeah, she's still recovering from it. That was like a year ago. She still has residual problems from it, dizziness. She can't stand up sometimes and shit. Like it's bad. So
I remember that happened, but I didn't know that was the reason.
Yeah, it wasn't good. So he can't speak, doesn't really know where he is a lot of the times. He just kind of wanders around the house sometimes. It's a strange thing here. So they have Grandpa wandering around, Grandpa mute mouth wandering, not knowing what to do, and then they have stepson and stepdad kind of not getting along.
Contentions, yeah.
Mother and stepfather getting along okay, except for we'll talk about what's going on with James here in a second, the stepfather. And Amy and Sean get along wonderfully. They're like,
that's good.
They get along great. There's no like sibling bullshit with them. They're totally, everybody at school says they're like best friends. They're great. When he came to high school, she went around introducing him to everybody, saying, this is my brother, be nice to him. This is my brother. This is Sean.
That's awesome.
Getting him friends and shit like that. So she seems really cool. So, hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. SpotMe eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in SpotMe and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
Anyway, James is having some problems. He's out of work at this moment. Out of work, growing weed in the garage.
Hell yeah. Drinking
heavily, and basically is known to everyone in town to be very depressed most of the time. So he's
Is he growing the weed as like cultivating it to sell it in
town? That's a point of contention. Okay. We'll put it that way, because some people will say he is, and some people, when we hear about it, doesn't sound like he is. It sounds like he's just trying to grow some plants for himself, and he's kind of not even really that good at that, or not good at keeping up on it. But either way, he's broke, no work, growing weed, drunk all the time, walking around town depressed, going to the liquor store all the time. So in a small town like that, too, if you keep going to the liquor store and buying liquor, everyone knows you're a drunk, because they've seen, there's only one place to get it right there, and so everyone knows about it. Whereas like in Phoenix, you can go get booze at a Walgreens and no one will know what the hell you did.
You could go in there
community
every day at the same time and see different people every time. You'll never see anybody that's the same.
Never, exactly, luckily, that's wonderful anonymity about it.
It is nice.
There. So James having a hard time, obviously, and everyone knows that. So New Year's Eve comes up, okay? New Year's Eve, December 31st, 1986.
Yep.
And there's some parties in the neighborhood. People are celebrating. There's, a little bit of fireworks here and there, nothing major. A little party that people kind of go from party to party, walk around because everybody knows each other. And, hey, they're having a party too. Mm-hmm. You walk around with your beer and say hi to people. So seems like that's how it works here. Well, late that night, well after midnight, we're talking, the son here, Sean, takes most of his belongings and drives 110 miles to Long Beach, Washington. Okay. Most of that, just takes him, has all his shit, and he's gone. Now, later that morning, it's early in the morning, but, it's like daylight now, I believe, 6, 7 o'clock, something like that. He's on a payphone at Long Beach here. He's approached by a police officer named Steve Graves in Long Beach, Washington. And the guy, I don't know if he asks him if he's lost. The guy asks him a question here, this police officer, which according to this officer Graves, Sean responded with, "I just killed 3 members of my family."
Well, Sean.
So I, figured I'd tell you that since you're here. No one else to tell. I was trying to find Bigfoot and he wasn't around. I hear he's good at stuff like this.
He'd be more impressed than you would be.
I thought he would give me like some clues. Maybe he could take me to his den. I don't know. I hear he's got good weed. We could hang out.
I was just going to tell him I need a family, so I'm a free agent.
Yeah, I've got a lot going on. We'll put it that way. It's busy, but I'm taking resumes at the moment. So this officer doesn't know him from a hole in the ground. He'd never seen him before, and he doesn't know who his family is. He's saying he killed his family 100 miles away. He's like, I guess I'll arrest you now. So at least, come to the police station with me, probably.
Let's go sort some minor information out.
So they do. They go back to the station. They telephone the Skamania County. Skamania, brother. That's how they answer the phone here.
Yeah.
Skamania, brother. What can we do for you? And they're like, wow.
Skamania, can you hold, please? Only because the hold music is fucking rad. It just sit tight. It's a lot of horns. It's so much fun.
Let's go.
It's me and our band, so listen here. Can't put you on hold just a minute.
And over that is a promo for Skamania 25, brother. So they call the Skamania Sheriff's Office, and they say, we got a guy here, kid, really, 16. He just turned 16. We got a kid here who says, weird thing, says he slaughtered his whole family in the house. I mean, I don't know if you want to check that out. We're all the way over here. We're not going to do it. It's not our problem. And
it's all the way over there.
You should probably go check that out. So they dispatch Officer Tom Converse to the defendant's home with Deputy Adidas, and Sheriff Puma is also there. So
3 deputies, one in suede, one in shell toes, the other in chucks, and they walk in the house.
They're pretty stylish, we're not going to lie. They go well with jeans, track pants, shorts, anything you really want to put on.
Yeah.
So anyway, back in Long Beach there, they're talking about it, and everybody's kind of word starting to spread that this has even in town before the cops got to the house, everybody already knew that something was going on in the town. I don't know if they called everyone and then went to the house, the cops. I got to make some phone calls, and then I'll go check out this alleged crime scene. So
I got to tell everybody where I'm going.
Yeah. So they figured out why he's in Long Beach. His father, Michael, and his grandmother, Mildred, live in Long Beach. So they're like, okay, that might be why they were there. He stopped. The payphone he was using, by the way, was right next to the police station in the town he was in there, the Long Beach police station. He used a public restroom and then next to the police station, and then went like in front of the police station, used the payphone.
Jesus.
That's why they were like, what's up with you? And they said, quote, the indications are that he was running, but we don't know any more than that. I think he might have told the Long Beach police that he had an argument with his stepfather. That's all the police know at that moment, because it's a game of literal telephone.
Right.
They called and told us this, and then the cop who took the call told me this. So I don't know what's going on here.
So he said he heard.
So they said that he heard, and this one thinks. So they're notified 6:45 a.m., and here's what ends up happening. This is Converse is there, and we'll talk about his experience. But the sheriff arrives a little while later. The sheriff of Skamania, brother, Ray Blaisdell. Blaisdell, Blaisdell.
Yeah.
It is his first day on the job. He took over January 1, 1987, and at 6:45 in the morning,
He's murder.
He's in his mirror at his house, putting his hat on, and he's doing it like straight, like sheriff's in town, baby. He just got done. He just got done banging his wife, like while still wearing his badge, like you know what I'm saying? They just did some role playing.
He did say that in the morning in the mirror. There is a new sheriff in town.
There's a new sheriff in town, buddy. And then he like tilted his cap down, and
then the phone
shined up his badge, and then he went to go pour a bowl of Lucky Charms, and instead of that, there was a phone call going, "We hear there's a bloodbath at the fucking Butler residence." Like, huh? When the fuck was the last time there's a murder in this fucking county? There's only 12,000 people. This hasn't happened in years.
You had a bad first day at work.
That's your first day at work. No time to get settled in. No time to figure out like how we're going to do the time clock now, or like,
he doesn't even have the sticker letters on the window yet.
Yeah, when the receptionists get breaks, none of that's happened. He doesn't even have like his parking sticker on his truck yet. None of this is happening. This guy's like, fuck. I'm picturing Hopper from Stranger Things, but on his first day.
Saw the same
that's what I saw. That's what we all
like
saw.
A happy
it's
good
1987.
Morning. Where Hopper had like a depressing get ready for work.
Yeah, this guy's like like Hopper's first day on the job, and he's still fresh.
That's what it looked like when Hopper was jacked about this job.
And he's like,
now he's like, fuck.
I know he was never jacked about it. He came there to get quiet. He was from the city. Yeah. We know it. We get it. We know. We've all seen it. But besides that, this poor bastard, though, you got to feel for someone with their first day on the job. You expect that if it's your first day as like the Clark County sheriff in Vegas or something, you're gonna walk in and find an escort with her body parts spread around the room, and you expect that. You expect that. You don't expect this in Skamania.
Also, sheriff is an elected position. This poor man ran, campaigned, got elected,
money up,
showed up for his first day to a bloodbath.
I've earned this. My whole life has led up to this. Oh, how many? Oh, fuck.
Oh, no. Now I have to live up to those goddamn campaign promises.
Oh, no. God damn it. So they go to the house, and also he doesn't even have, he hasn't set up how, he works his crime scene protocols with his deputies. He's got none of that's been established yet. They could have really used, a general store getting broken into first or something, but to, build this up. So they go to the house. They end up collecting evidence. They get blood, and by the way, blood is also collected from Sean Stevenson, the son here, from his vehicle. Okay. We'll talk about that, but there's blood collected from his vehicle. There's blood on the walls, the furniture. There is fucking blood everywhere in this house. They said it looked like, a pig exploded in there or something. Like it was just, there's blood everywhere, and they'll tell you why in a second. So Officer Converse is the first to arrive. Yeah. Peers in the window of the house, and the first thing he sees is the mother, Margaret Butler. She is lying in bed, clearly been shot. There's blood everywhere, and a lot of her head's missing. So it's not great. He immediately calls for backup. Small town guy. I just imagine him fumbling for the radio. Sheriff, hi. But welcome to the department. First of all, coffee. Don't use the machine on the left. It doesn't work real well. The one on the right's much better. By the way, there's a fucking woman with half her head in a goddamn house. You want to get over here?
And every other sentence he said, he threw up.
Yeah, he goes,
because he's never seen this shit before.
Yeah, no, use that one. And I got to hold on. It's
Sheriff.
It's just in my mouth a little bit. It's just not a lot. So
I'm not even. I'm gagging, imagining what this house smells like.
So Officer Chris Ford responds here. Ford and Converse on the scene.
Hilarious.
That's a sitcom there. Ford and Converse. Converse and Ford. Solving the crimes.
Everything's a Fortune 500 company.
They always have a little bit of throw up on on the front of their uniform. So they enter the house to determine if anybody's still alive in there, or if there's other dead people. They just looked through the window and saw one body and were like, holy shit. So they enter, and it gets worse as they enter. It starts getting much worse. Also, they have guns drawn. They're wondering if whoever did this is still there. They don't fucking know. And I don't think they're used to doing this either. That's the other thing. This isn't a normal thing for them. This is holy shit.
And whoever did this has a gun also, so this is fucking horrifying.
Oh, definitely, as we'll find out here. So they enter the house. They're creeping around, I'm sure, shaking probably of like, oh my God, what is happening? They discover next the body of James Butler, the stepfather. He is lying on the floor in the bedroom with Margaret Butler. So they're both on the floor in the bedroom. Both of them have been shot in the head once with a high-powered rifle, like a big hunting rifle. Really? Close range, too. Very close range. Like extra close.
Wow.
Real close.
30-30 or 30-6 or some shit.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
We're going to talk? Great.
Oh, we'll talk calibers. All right. We're going to talk calibers, babe. We're going to get into the science of this. Don't you worry.
I'm guessing
that's a lot
30 cal, but go on.
Jimmy, you're pretty prescient, I gotta say. You can say a lot of things about Jimmy, but sometimes when it comes to country music, guns.
You mean hillbilly culture, Jay? Is it like I'm a goddamn hillbilly?
It's kind of like he's a redneck. It's good. So then, we're making jokes, but this is a horrible scene that they're walking through here. Then they are going around the rest of the house, and they find out there's a basement, and they head down to the basement. Okay. And here is where they find Amy Stevenson, 18-year-old Amy. She has been shot twice in the head. She's the only one that's been shot twice in the head with 2 different caliber rifles.
Oh, weird.
And there's a .22 rifle lying close by to her as well here. That's not even the bad part. Also, she's naked from the waist down.
Oh, no.
And there is semen visible in her area there on and around and about her pubic area. She's been at least assaulted, but most likely raped and also shot twice in the head. So not good at all. And like I said, if you're a small town cop who this isn't your normal day, this is fucking the worst thing possible. This isn't like, this lady shot her husband and he's lying on the floor. This is a fucking horrific scene that, anybody, even with
family massacre.
Yeah, this is horrific. So during the initial sweep, the officers take note of a bunch of things in plain view. Obviously, pools of blood, spatterings of blood. There is human tissue, chunks of skull, brain matter, there's brain on the wall. Like this is as bad as it gets here. They found a wallet, a broken pottery bank, like a bank,
Yeah.
like a piggy bank, but made of pottery, and I don't think it was a pig. Shell casings. They find the semen, obviously, on Amy Stevenson's body. They find the .22 caliber rifle. Now, because of their desire, from what they say, to preserve the scene, they don't remove any of these items, but they wait outside the house. They say they looked around, noted these all visually, cleared the house of anyone alive. And we'll talk about, there is one person, and because who are we missing?
We're missing Grandpa.
We're missing
Nobody
Grandpa.
Home.
We're missing Grandpa Bonjour here. So we have
French bye-bye.
yeah, that's him, Grandpa Bonjour. Sorry, that's so
horrible.
It's
so
terrible,
funny.
but I don't know why it's funny. So maybe because it happened 35 years ago, and
It's possibly why.
we haven't found his body, so that makes it okay.
Good point. Yeah.
That's what it is. We're so uncomfortable with the fact that this horrible shit's been happening. We're like, who's alive to make fun of? Like, because we don't. It's because we're uncomfortable. Because we're comedians, and we're like, this is too dark.
It's a lot.
So it's very fucking dark. So because of this, though, they don't remove any of the items. They just wait outside the house, lock it all down, close the house up, and wait outside for the county's criminal investigation unit to come, which in a county of 12,000 people, I can't imagine, has much more experience or knowledge in it than fucking you do, probably. Like, how
Probably
often
all
are
about
there
the same qualifications?
How often is there a sexual slaughter like this? Like that doesn't
Right.
happen in 12,000 people. 12,000 people is like a neighborhood in Phoenix, like it's nothing. So
Countrywide, this barely happens. I mean,
it happens,
but not barely in comparison to how many fucking people there are
in this county. So members of this unit arrive shortly after that, and they spend several hours collecting the evidence. They find shitloads of guns all over the house, by the way, because this is a hunt. They're very hunting family, like always.
Very Washington. Yeah.
With Squatch around, you never know, so you got to have a lot.
You better be armed.
Bullets, spent shell casings, unused bullets, casings, everything. They get blood and semen samples, clothing samples with blood. They take over 200 photographs of the scene, because the scene's the scenes from the bedroom down to the basement and all that sort of thing. After they complete all of that, they figure out that each victim was shot in the head at close range with a high-powered rifle. Amy'd been shot twice and also raped. No other sexual anything on mom or dad. Mm-hmm. The only significant evidence produced by the search of anything physical nature other than blood and what we talked about was a bullet that went through Margaret Butler's head, went through her head, pillow, and mattress, and then it became embedded in a wooden bedpost.
Wow.
That's where they found it, and they dug it out of the wooden bedpost when they did the second search of the house. Okay. So that's how they found one bullet. And the medical examiner, this is all weird too, and then this is again with small town shit, and it's kind of like why we do small town murder. The coroner now, is also the county's prosecuting attorney.
Of course he is.
So the coroner's also the prosecutor. So
why the fuck not?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's a prosecutor would get a coroner's report,
because you gotta,
but you can
question yourself on the stand.
That's what I mean. Like you can't. It seems like you need those to be separate. Also, like the coroners and the medical examiners. It depends on the county whether it's a medical examiner, coroner, but they like help determine whether things are homicide, suicide, like natural causes. They're part of that too. And if you have the prosecutor in the mix, I feel like it's just like
conflict of interest. It's too much.
Yeah, there's a little oil in my oatmeal. It's just what's going on here. Like it's black. It's only a little, but you move it around, it's just a swirl. It just keeps going.
Can't get it all out.
Not right. Yeah, it's never going to come out. It's just wrong. It's fucking straight. It's used too. It's from like a 91 Geo Metro. I don't like that.
10W30.
Yeah,
it feels like
it is. It is
pretty heavy.
40. It's 40. It's 40. So the medical examiner here and the prosecuting attorney, who's the coroner, and Deputy Grossi. Okay. By the way, when I said the county's criminal investigation unit, comes in. You pictured what, like 8 guys coming in with
white
bunch
suits.
of men and women, either white suits or they have like a windbreaker with like, CSI type thing. Criminal investigation, CIU on the back. They have latex gloves on, and there's a bunch of them. Oh, you're collecting that. I'm over here taking pictures. No. It is the prosecuting attorney and Deputy Grossi. That's the whole thing.
So we need
the coroner, who's also the prosecutor, and 1 deputy. That's the entire county's criminal investigation unit. That tells you that doesn't happen here, because they've
just
never
enough people to call it a unit.
Because it's only if it was one person and it's only the prosecutor, it's kind of a one-man show at that point. You might
go by the name.
Just give him a badge and a gun too at that point, and call him the sheriff, and we'll just say that he runs shit around here. So they're accompanied also. They call in a special investigator borrowed from neighboring Cowlitz County Sheriff's Office, who probably has about as much experience in this as they do.
Yeah.
You want to look? You want to see a dead body?
That's what it is.
There's 3 of them. Come with us. Come do it. It's going to be gross. And then they all went there. That's how I picture this shit. So all 3 shot in the head with a .30 caliber, Jimmy.
Yes,
right.
sir.
.30 caliber rifle. Amy also shot once with a .22 caliber rifle. They assume the one found.
Also,
she got the .30 first, they assume, and then the .22, which was found nearby.
Oh my God! Does that mean she was still alive? Maybe.
Which is very.
That's fucked up, man.
Unlikely, probably, with the .30 caliber, because it opens up an exit.
Yeah.
That, It opens up an exit that spreads much of the inside of the contents of your head onto the wall. So I don't know how you'd really. You can hit
an elk with a .30 cal, James, from 1,000 feet away, and it'll drop it. If you hit somebody in the head with it from inches away,
close range. Too.
Yeah,
this is close range, man. This is brutal. This is brutal. Yeah, this is brutal shit, man. So. Blood tests show, they do blood tests on the victim, blood tests show that the Butlers, Margaret and James, had been very drunk, but it's New Year's Eve.
You expect that.
It's New Year's Eve. They'd been very drunk before their death, and also they had marijuana in their blood as well. So they've said that's what I mean. And it's New Year's Eve. So if there's anybody's going to be doing any partying, this is the night it's going to happen.
You bet.
So the investigation, they do the investigation, they get everything out, and then pretty quick afterwards, they just get like their stuff out. They don't like hold the crime scene for a while in case they need it for something else. They do their sweep, and then they go, all right, all yours. They turn it back over to the relatives. Clean it up. That's what they do. The relatives come in, they clean it, they wash all the blood out, all the brain matter off the walls, they burn the blood-soaked mattresses and the bedding and the chair in which James Butler had been shot. They burn all of that. No. They get rid of the bedpost that had the gun in it, the bullet hole, everything. They just get rid of everything that was in the house, and the cops let them get rid of everything. Literally,
instructed them to. Yeah.
Like the next day, they were like, all right, clean it on up, do what you got to do. Your house, not our fucking problem, and they leave. Right. That's it.
We got our pictures. See you around.
About a dozen guns were found by deputies who discovered the 3 bodies there in the house. 6 other rifles and pistols were found in his truck as well when they found him, when he was arrested in Long Beach.
In Sean's truck?
In Sean's truck.
They found six guns with him?
There was some blood in the truck, 6 rifles and pistols, and all but 1 were loaded to the max, too. Yeah. They were all loaded the fuck. I mean, why have them, I guess, if you're not going to load them? So
if you don't put bullets in it.
There you go. So obviously, in a town where the county's crime scene investigation unit consists of the prosecuting attorney, who's also the coroner, and 1 other dude, word gets around quickly in this town, and people are real freaked out and real gossipy about it, and they just can't wait to talk to the newspapers with their gossip, and that's fun. And first is the liquor store guy, Roger Grove.
Yeah,
he
a lot.
Yep, he runs the Skamania General Store, which is about 100 yards from their home. So they live.
So where were you, sir? How did you not hear this? Jesus, 3 30 caliber gunshots. You didn't hear a thing. Granted, it was in the middle of the night. Yeah,
I was going to say, I think probably the liquor store is closed at midnight. I would assume, or the general store. He was hammered by then. Yeah. He said that he knew of the Butler's marijuana use. Oh. He said, I knew they used marijuana. I'll tell you something. And he had seen James come into the store very intoxicated up 3 times or more in the couple weeks before the killings. before that, he never would come in like openly hammered. He'd be fine when he went to the store, but he said the last couple weeks he has just been coming in stumbling and stinking of liquor and shit-faced. And Roger Grove here says, quote, he was depressed because he was out of work. Well, thank you, Dr. Grove, for your in-depth analysis. He also says that, and everyone has a different take on this, he says that Sean didn't appear to get along with his stepfather, but he did have a great relationship with his mother and sister. Okay. And he knows them by what he sees of these people when they're in his store.
Right.
I mean, it's a very... I guess 100 yards away, you might be able to see if they're like out in the yard having a fist fight. But outside of that, you really don't know shit.
But openly, clearly bickering with each other in public. If I don't know, it seemed like he had a good relationship with his sister and his mom. But that guy, they didn't get along. In the liquor store, they're doing that. You know what I mean?
In the Skamania
in the
general
store. They're picking out fucking potatoes. They're bitching at each other.
It sounds odd, right?
Yeah.
It's really strange. This guy said, quote, I've never seen him be impolite to his sister or mom, but everybody knew he didn't like his stepdad.
Okay, so he makes comments and shit in public.
I love everybody knew. That's the thing. Everybody. Whenever anybody in these stories says, well, everybody knew this. It's like, who? Only nosy people like you who work at the general store and gossip with fucking...
Right.
No.
Why are you watching people so close?
I don't know anything about anybody around me. Like, if something happened next door to my house and people were like, everybody knew this, I'd go, I didn't know shit. I know the person had a head and legs because I've seen them go get their mail. Outside of that, I don't know a fucking thing about their life or what they're doing. That's on them. I don't care.
I assume he put up an above-ground pool because one day there was one out there. And
there was one out there. Yeah. I figured someone didn't just come onto his property and erect one for him and then leave. Figured it was on purpose, so that's how I know. Wow. Yeah. But he said that, he didn't like his stepdad. He also, this Roger Grove has all the info. He said that Sean, quote, seemed like a very lonely person and that... He and his stepdad didn't get along well, but they did go hunting together all the time because you like to spend long hours in the woods with people you don't like generally, right? That's normal.
The nice part about hunting is you can get the fuck away from those people.
And you're trying to be quiet. They start saying something like, shh, don't talk. Shut the fuck up. Well, maybe I would like hunting.
You would love hunting.
I don't want to shoot anything, but I don't want to shoot anything.
The only bummer, James, is you can't be out there smoking weed because they will smell it and run away.
Maybe they'll like it and come.
But you're not there to shoot anything anyway. You're there for.
That's what I mean. I don't want to shoot anything. If I see a deer, I'm going to be like, "Oh, look at him. He's cool as fuck. Check him out.
Don't shoot.
Oh, he's gorgeous, dude. He's like a little horse. Look at him. He's fucking awesome." That's what I would say.
Don't shoot. You'll scare him away.
We put apples and shit so deer come up and eat them, and then we look at him and go, "Look at the deer." We take pictures of him and shit. Look at him.
He's rubbing his head on the tree.
There's a whole family. That's what we do. We're like, that's the so cute. Two babies. The buck's growing his horns out. Look at him go. That's what we do. He's growing his antlers.
It's so much better than shooting them.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I lived in some rural place somewhere and I didn't have a lot of access to food, and some people hunt for food. Like, I get it. Then that's food. I mean, whenever I go to the grocery store, someone killed that shit, so I get it. I mean, it's not like I'm against it. I just don't want to kill a giant mammal myself, unless it's really pissed me off. And I don't feel like a deer. I don't feel like a deer
I'm incapable.
Yeah, I'm incapable. A deer's never done the things to me that make me want to strangle somebody or shoot them with a .30 caliber rifle.
People have done worse things to me than any deer's ever done.
Ever.
People have stolen from me. Deers have never taken anything from me that I didn't give them.
That you didn't leave in the yard on the ground for them. Otherwise, they generally don't come into your house. I've never woken up and had a deer rifling through my dresser drawers, look back at me like, oh shit, it's never happened.
I'm sorry, I'll leave. The only wildlife that's ever taken anything from me is the coyotes that steal my rabbits, and I like the rabbits, so I'll shoot a fucking coyote in the mouth. I don't give a shit.
Those coyotes are dicks too. Yeah,
they're awful.
Gross out there. So this is fucking amazing. This is how ridiculous small town gossip is, and this is why you can't listen to people. Right. And whenever people get involved, things turn terrible. This is what this Roger Grove said
from the grocery store.
From the grocery store. Now, there's alternating tales from everybody of Sean being both like a social guy who's good with friends and has friends, and being like this shadowy figure who like lurks in the darkness with no one around him. Right. And they literally say it in alternating sentences. And then this guy, fucking Dr. Roger again, he's a psychiatrist, this fucking guy. He's the guy who had his theory before. He says that Sean, who's a sophomore at Stevenson High School, quote, seemed like a very lonely person in one breath. Then in his next fucking statement is, quote, he was outgoing, although maybe that was a defense mechanism for him. Where did you go to medical school, sir? What fucking school did you go to sit and go, I mean, even though he's talkative and outgoing and seems to have friends, I can see a lonely person in there. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's very contradictory.
Like a 16-year-old, sullen and pissy some days, but outgoing too around their friends. Like every 16-year-old on earth. Yeah, real weird. Another neighbor, Jeffrey Cloutier, said, quote, it didn't appear he had a lot of close friends. He was big for his age and tried to live up to that macho tough guy image. And
it's every kid.
That sounds like every kid.
Yeah, it's anybody.
It's just, you want to be cool. Cloutier and Grove, both of them, they got together for this one. Cloutier and Grove are going to put an album out now. You're going to drop some tracks. They said that both of them said, they enjoyed hunting together, the stepfather and stepson, and they own many, many guns. The grandmother, Mildred Stevenson, Sean's grandmother, said, quote, he's an excellent shot. He gets a deer every year.
That's incredible.
When things like this are on the table, maybe this isn't the time when you brag about your grandson's shooting acumen when they're accusing him of using it on his entire family. She's like, always been an excellent shot. She's so proud of her Is this my grandmother?
That's you got 4 headshots and 3 bodies? That sounds like my boy.
My grandmother would go, it's because he's a good shot. That's right. He's a nice boy.
3 bodies, 4 headshots.
Wow. Jesus. She said that her grandson had spent Christmas in Long Beach and then went back to Skamania a couple days later, and then a few days later, he's back. Mildred said, we all love him so much. We couldn't believe what's happened. So they're in shock. Everyone's like, it just doesn't seem like that. A woman at the Skamania store that they ran into, she said that the deaths have, quote, had a terrible impact on the community. People come in with real long faces now.
Yeah.
Everybody's depressed, apparently.
Okay.
A little bit of the science here. They say that from the ballistics, it's likely that the one of the rifles he had in the car could have been the one to shoot the bullet, but they can't get it exact because it's went through a head in a mattress and embedded itself in a bedpost, and the shit isn't perfect anymore. So they said that could have been the one. Not positive.
And we don't know for sure now because they burned the fucking bed frame.
And they'll never find out. So they said that only one of the guns that he had in him in the truck could have fired the gun. This 130 caliber scope-equipped Marlin he had in there.
30, yeah.
Yeah, that's a Bigfoot hunting gun.
Mm-hmm. Sure
that's literally in the beginning of Harry and the Hendersons, they were selling people, that exact fucking gun to hunt Bigfoot. He said that the grooves inside the barrel are unique to that weapon and produce marks on the bullet. The death bullets, they said, had to come from the rifle in the truck or another one similar to it because, that had a very similar rifling on all of them. So he said the 22 caliber bullet from Amy Stevenson's head, because that was still in there, of course, because those bounce around, was consistent with bullets that they fired from the rifle in the room. So they think that's definitely the 22, which makes a lot of sense there. Now, the big question, where the fuck is Grandpa?
Yeah.
Okay? That's the thing now, the only person at the family home here that was home during the shootings and is still fucking alive and not in police custody is Grandpa.
Yeah.
Now, he apparently... he hasn't been out of the house in a while since he's been ill. So the police only know him and people only know him and after his medical condition from right now. Okay. And he is a mute, according to him. He's a mute. And that's that. So what are you going to do? Mute. Boom.
I mean, no information from him.
Well, after the shooting, he walked from the house over to the general store. Okay. He just like wandered over there. Wow. There was another part of I guess he was in another part of the house, and they think he heard the gunshots.
Of course he did.
The prosecutor, though, said that you can't really rely on him as a witness, quote, because of his difficulty in communicating and his recent medical history. His testimony, he said, isn't really going to be necessary anyway, as we'll find out here. They said that he was in the house, but unable to provide much help to anything. They said the exact time of death is also not known. They said we attempted to establish the time of death, but we couldn't do it. In this case, the time of death isn't that important, though. They're like, sometime in the night, and we think he did it, so that's good enough for us. We don't need to establish a timeline, which if I'm on a jury, you got to show me a timeline, motherfucker. I need to...
Yeah.
If you're asking for what they're going to be asking for, yeah. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. Yeah. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. Yeah. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. The most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover.
Yeah.
Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing.
No.
They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro-laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Wherever your problem areas are, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So when the grandfather was asked who killed his daughter, her husband, and his granddaughter, they didn't do a lineup like a six-pack. Mm-hmm. They had his Sean's picture there.
Just one picture.
It was Sean's. It was a picture that he had given Sean.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So it was like he knew the picture well. It was a picture that he knew, and they said, who killed him? And he pointed to the picture of Sean.
Sean, yeah.
That's what he said. So they said, who is this? They said he's barely able to, like, he just goes, so for like yes and no. He can't get anything out. They said that's how he indicated that it was the son who, or it was Sean who did all this. But they said they also weren't sure that he actually witnessed the killings and that he really even knew what the fuck they were talking about. That's the other thing. Yeah. They don't know if they said, do you here's a picture, and he went, I know him. Like, that's my grandson, and pointed to, like, literally, he might be out there to the point where they just showed him a familiar picture, and he went, oh, that's Sean. Look at that in his head. Yeah, I know him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't have any fucking idea. of what's going on with this guy. He's just been sitting in a room for 6 months. He said, I asked him if it was his grandson, and he nodded yes. Not
that tells nothing.
Yeah, the picture of he pointed to the photograph from his wallet. Because they had his wallet and they had pictures, because that's where they needed a picture of Sean, and he had one in his wallet. And they said that he said he knew the photo was of Stevenson because on the back it said, "To Grandpa from Sean." Right. So there's a picture he kept that Sean had given him of himself when he was a kid. So anyway, Sean is in Long Beach, as we said here. And the Long Beach police say that he admits to killing his family and all of this type of shit. Now, later on, they're going to say that none of that matters because he was in shock from discovering the bodies, and that he is, they think that he's developed amnesia from some sort of trauma from seeing.
He just thinks he did it because he stumbled upon 3 bodies and he just takes claim?
That's a theory. At the police station here, he walked in there, and what he said to them was, quote, "I think you're going to want to talk to me after the terrible thing I did." He said, and this is the officer Graves that was there. He said that, quote, he said he had just killed his stepdad, mother, and sister in Skamania. And then he stretched out his arms to be handcuffed. He said, "I just killed my family in Skamania," and put his arms out, so you might as well cuff me. So once they got in the station, this is all outside on the street, like by a payphone. This isn't even in the interrogation room.
What a scene.
This is according to Graves, and he was the only one who, I believe, heard this confession. Another officer will come in later on. None of this is taped. None of this is audio, video, nothing. It's 87. He says Graves claims that Stevenson described an argument with his stepfather over a party. I guess. I don't know why. So Butler grounded him, and he said that Sean said, quote, one thing led to another.
That usually describes sex.
Yeah, not killing your whole family and raping your sister.
Not at all.
And raping your older sister is we've never had this before. We've never had anybody rape their sister.
James, how do you go from arguing with your stepfather to raping your older sister?
Who has nothing? This isn't even your stepfather's kid. This has nothing to do with him. Yeah. Those two things don't connect.
No.
And we've never had this before.
Nope.
I mean, I guess Long Beach patrolman John Dodge had come in as well.
Shut up.
John Dodge. We got Dodge, Ford, and Converse.
We got Buick coming through next. What the fuck is happening?
I believe Teddy Nabisco is going to be on the case pretty soon. So
Judge Samsung presiding.
That's fucking funny as shit. Judge Samsung.
Dodge, Ford, Converse. This is crazy. Go on.
This is too much here. No, it's amazing. It's wild. In Skamania. Asked, okay, well, you got into a fight with your stepdad. One thing led to another. Why did you kill your sister and your mother? That doesn't make any sense. And he reportedly said, quote, "You'd have had to been there to understand." I would say.
Give us a shot. Give us a try. I don't...
Can you expand
is our
just
point.
A little?
This is too much.
It's a lot. So Patrolman John Dodge said that when he asked Stevenson what happened, that Sean said, quote, "I'll tell you the same thing I told the other officer. I killed my stepfather, my mother, and my sister." That's it. Then he was quoted in a hospital room where they were taking scrapings from under his fingernails for evidence. He was quoted as saying, quote, "I don't want to die just because I shot those people in Skamania." So that's the officer Dodge quoting that there. Now, his interrogation, they say he confessed twice to both guys, one police officer and then again to the other one. So they heard that. And then again, they say he also would end up confessing to a girlfriend that he phoned from the police station because those calls aren't monitored, obviously. Right. You want to let out your deepest, darkest on those. So the testimony later on about this whole thing, they're going to say that he only said that stuff because he was in shock over finding the bodies of his parents. Now, that sounds stupid and crazy. Only problem is there's several, and I mean several witnesses that say he was at a party
all night
while this occurred, while they all heard gunshots together coming from that direction that they thought were fireworks because it was New Year's Eve. Right. Same thing. So, this is wild. Now, this is the other thing. That other guy said, I think he was lonely. He was only outgoing as a defense mechanism. There's a newspaper article where the giant bold headline is "Youth charged in slaying had no friends." Okay. And then they go on to quote 5 of his friends in this fucking article. He was at a party. He's over here. What the fuck? Because one person said that he didn't seem to have a lot of friends. So they took that one quote, made that the headline, and then completely went against it with everything in the fucking article except for one quote.
Is it everybody's first day on the job in this town?
It's crazy. Like, no one's ever seen a murder and their brains are melting. So, yeah, they said that one person from town, and it was in the newspaper, quote, this is from the paper, quote, from Longview, Washington, a 16-year-old Skamania youth charged with raping and killing his sister and shooting his mother and stepfather to death had no friends to speak of, but was close to his sister, said acquaintances. Okay, now, later on in that fucking article, Jimmy, no friends to speak of.
James.
An inch and a half down the fucking page. I'm turning the monitor. Roll over so you can read this. Quote, a friend of Sean Stevenson's, Russell Lewis.
Even named him.
Not a guy that he knows, a friend of his. Your fucking article is he has no friends. That's the goddamn title of your fucking article. Dude, they just tried. It makes it always a loner, and it's not as easy. That makes it more clear. Whereas if he had friends, how could he possibly have murdered everybody?
Yeah, so you need a reason for this atrocity to occur, and if it's not there, fucking make it.
Make it happen. So this Russell Lewis, who's up the street from him, he says he was with Sean at a party the whole time this was happening, including when he and multiple other people here heard 4 shots come from the direction of the Butler house and said, oh shit, were those gunshots? They discussed the shots together, all these people. This guy, Russell Lewis, said, quote, at the time, we didn't think anything about it. It was New Year's Eve. But after a while, Sean began to worry and went down to the house. After that, I didn't see him. So literally, they sat there. They were like, I can't be anything. And then they had seen no activity in the house, but they knew everybody stayed up late and it was New Year's Eve. So he was like, that's weird. I should go over and check that out. We heard gunshots. You never know.
Heard 4 booms, saw no explosions of fireworks. So I wandered.
Yeah, I didn't see any fucking red and green shit in the sky. And I was like, this could be weird. So that right there is a lot. That's a really strong alibi witness that
solid
says
argument. Yeah.
We heard the gunshots together. Like, that's ridiculous. Another guy, by the way, no friends, clearly, Chris Hamrich, who was 31 at the time. He lives up the road from the Stevenson home in Skamania, and he said that Stevenson and a third friend, the third friend is Lewis. He's another guy that was there. They literally sat there together. So this isn't just one guy that he made, hey, say I was with you when we heard the gunshots. There's another fucking guy they don't live together. These are separate people that were just hanging out at a party. He said that they were all there together, heard the gunshots, discussed it, sat around for a while, and then a little while later, Sean said, man, I still haven't heard anything. I'm going to go check and make sure everything's cool at my house, and went to his house. So that's 2 people. No friends. So, man, a psychiatrist said that he has amnesia, is what they're going to say now. Hamrich says, one of the 31-year-old who was with Lewis and Sean, he says that the trio argued whether the first sound, when they heard the first shot, they argued whether it was a gunshot or a firecracker. They didn't know. Then they determined the sounds were gunshots after 2 more loud bangs came within 8 minutes, he said. So it wasn't quick. Came within 8 minutes, and then they heard a 4th shot that sounded different than the other shots, which would be the 22, which sounds much different than a 30 caliber being fired. And if you're a hunter, you can definitely tell the difference between those two.
Absolutely.
If you hear them all the time. They said those 2 loud bangs came after that, and then a 4th one even later on. Russell Lewis says that Hamrich and Sean were drinking beer at Hamrich's house when they heard the shots. And Lewis said, I thought they came from Sean's house. But the trio didn't think much of it, like we said. They said, number one, firecrackers. Number two, gunshots. And they were like, well, they probably weren't in the house. They're probably just out there. And they said gunshots are not abnormal in this area at all. It's a rural area with there's constantly people shooting shit in their yards and animals and things like that. They said that Sean went home at about 1:30 to check on his house. He goes, well, I'll go check it out and go to bed and everything. I'm sure it's fine. They said that's when he left. Hamrich said he was awakened by a neighbor at about 7 a.m. who, this is like some small town humor here, some dad humor, knocked on the door at 7 a.m. This guy's up drinking till 3 in the morning. He staggers out, what the fuck? And the guy said, quote, I guess the butlers had a hell of a party last night.
Oh, boy.
That's what he said to the discovery of everyone being murdered in the house brutally. Hell of a party last night. So Hamrich didn't know what he was talking about, so he said, what are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? And the guy just replied, quote, they're all dead. Hell of a party. They're all dead. See ya. Have a good one. Happy New Year.
Have a great day.
By the way,
don't forget to write 87 on your checks.
I'll take that Christmas tree away for $5. I'm going to start a service in the area. I think I can make a little extra money on the side.
You got any empties I can recycle? I got to go.
They're all dead. So anyway, this is fucking nuts. So the sister's best friend, they talked to her because they're trying to figure out, they're like, okay, well, people say he wasn't even there. And then they're like, well, we need to get like an alibi. Or not an alibi. We need to get like a solid through line of why this happened, of like what the fuck happened. Motive isn't that important in a murder investigation, but in something like this, it's like, well, did he kill his mother and sister? Did the fight with his stepdad spill that much? They need to find out. So they talk to several of their schoolmates. They both go to the same school, Amy and Sean. And they all described Sean as a friendly and fun youth. No friends. Dark, sullen, depressed. Friendly and fun youth. This is how the girls in high school describe him. So that's how he is, if that's how the girls are describing him, because they're
I got
paying
news
attention.
for you. That is a generational difference.
Yeah, he's just sullen. The kids now, they're just all sullen. Yeah, he was just like a Gen X sullen kid, maybe. Who knows? So they said he was friendly, fun youth who was close to his sister. This is Stacy Bottom. Stacy Bottom. Every one of these names sounds like a stage name. It's so weird. Stacy Bottom?
This is a town full of pornographers?
Yeah, they're all like porno stage names. It's so strange. Dodge and fucking Converse and Stacy Bottom. This poor girl, I don't mean to besmirch her. Well, you know what? She's like 50 now, so she can take
she
it.
She doesn't give a shit.
You can take it on the chin, Stacy.
Probably has.
I mean, who hasn't? So he says... she said, quote, they were really close, really loving, the sister and brother. Also said that this is Amy's best friend, by the way. Amy's best friend, quote, they would do anything for each other. So really close, really loving, would do anything for each other. Carol Boucher, who is another one of her close friends, said, quote, they were like best friends. The sister and brother. Another guy, Casey Claxton, said that Stevenson, in addition to them being best friends and really close and loving, was very protective of his sister. And if anybody fucked with his sister, it was game on with him.
Attaboy.
That was it. So none of this says that he's going to rape and kill this girl, which is the weird part. It just doesn't add up, that part. I don't get that.
It's very hard to get from A to B here.
I can get from... He got in an argument, killed his stepfather. Right. His mom got involved. Maybe he had some deep-seated shit toward her, shot her too. But then he would go and be like, sis, I did something really bad. You got to help me. He wouldn't think like, well, she's a part of that too. Because the kids are one unit and then there's the parents. So the kids seem like they're close because they've moved and their father lives away. And it doesn't seem like they would turn on each other. It's just an odd thing.
And even more so, like to turn would be one thing, but to... James, he fucking raped her and killed her.
That's what I'm saying.
So far.
Had that, and there's some weird stuff that we're going to get into of why this bothers me. Because normally I'd be like, well, I mean, fuck it. Whatever happened, he decided to do it, and he can go fuck himself. But it's weird here. Another friend, a sophomore here, or a classmate of Sean's, Taveen Talent. Okay, no, that's not your Taveen Talent. That's his name? Stacy Bottom and Tavine Talent? What is going on with this fucking town? That's crazy. Tavine Talent? Talent, Dodge, singer. Bottom, Converse. This is silly. This is nuts. Said that brother and sister were, quote, really close, and that is what was shocking about this. When he was a freshman, she would take him around school and introduce him. So everybody's pretty fucking shocked about it. It's odd. Now, everybody has said all of this, everybody except Twyla Gibson, who sounds like a country singer. Yeah. Is there a country singer named Twyla Gibson? Because there should be.
The girl in Schitt's Creek was named Twyla. That's the only time I've ever heard the name until right now.
Twyla Gibson 100% sounds like a 70s country star. Remember?
It's a girl that has picnicked in a bramble bush somewhere.
Oh. She used to open for Tammy Wynette all over the country. Remember her?
Oh, Twyla.
Poor Twyla. Yeah, she had a tough going, though. She hit the bottle real hard. And her third album, just nobody really listened to it. It was mainly songs about stealing shit from the dollar store. Nobody could really relate to it. And then I never heard from her again. Well,
I believe she is the writer of that Dixie Chick song with the piccolo player and the marching band.
I don't know.
I think she's the ghostwriter of that song. And her best friend, Caston Couch.
Jesus. Twyla. Twyla lives in Long Beach. She's 15 years old, young Twyla. Now, Twyla knows Sean because he had spent this summer there with his father. And so she became friends with Sean. They're the same age. Yeah. So they hung out and is kind of his girlfriendish, sort of, from what we understand.
Interest, yeah.
When he's in town, they are girlfriend, boyfriend.
Got it.
So she says that she got an early morning call. When he's on the payphone and the cop came up, this is who he was talking to.
He was calling Twyla.
Twyla Gibson at 7 a.m. on fucking New Year's Day.
Wow.
To ask if she maybe wanted to come with him to Mexico, where he was running away. Want to take a trek down to old Mexico with me?
Hey,
Hey, Twy. 16 and a 15-year-old fleeing to Mexico in a vehicle with blood on the seat seems really like that's going to work out well.
If you could sing that piccolo player in the marching band song, the whole ride there, that'd be great.
No shit. Now, during this, please do that. It sounds.
I think it's called American Soldier. I think that's.
I don't know a goddamn thing about that. I don't know anything about it. If a band has the name Dixie in it, I'm probably not listening to anything.
Now they're just the Chicks, James.
Oh, okay.
They changed it because
Terrific.
Dixie sounds awful.
Do they still sound like fucking 4 woodchucks fighting in a shed?
There's only 3, but yes.
Just screechy over each other and all that shit. I hate that country. Every country guy sounds like this, and every country women sound like these high-pitched fucking over each other. Like, turn the treble down, ladies. Good God. Sorry, I can't take it.
I guess that's what gets them going, James.
It is. That's what gets them fucking. I don't know. Well, you would know. Get you going? This is what you're into.
To be honest, I could give a fuck.
Right,
I just like the words, to be honest with you. Like, good. It does. Never mind. The words now don't mean fuck, but they used to.
That makes sense.
It used to be a thing.
So during this conversation with Twyla, this is very important. Twyla said that he seemed dazed and confused, wasn't like all there, which is kind of goes along with what a psychiatrist will later say. And she said, this is the quote he said, quote, "I shot my family. I think I just shot my family." Okay. He didn't say, I think I just shot my family. I think I just shot my family. And she was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, I think I'm going to go to Mexico if you want to go. She was like, huh? And she said, I thought he was just joking. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. And then he hung up the phone and then he talked to that cop and there you go. Wow. So by January 3rd, not only is he charged, he's charged as an adult.
Oh.
At this. Yes, he's charged as an adult. with first-degree murder in the shooting deaths here, first-degree murder here, and the prosecutor says that he plans to seek the death penalty.
Yeah, with the aggravator of the rape, it's certainly possible.
He's been charged as an adult, faces the death penalty if convicted. If so, he would be the youngest person sentenced to death in the history of Washington State, obviously, because he's a fucking 10th grader. Had he been if he's tried and convicted as a juvenile, he would have had to have gone free by the age of 21.
Yeah.
So the adult crime of aggravated first-degree murder carries a penalty of either a death penalty or life imprisonment without the possibility of parole.
Right.
So they it's pretty honestly crazy that they trying a 16-year-old for a death penalty case just seems like a lot. It's a lot. Like your brain isn't developed enough yet for that. It's a little weird.
If you've got all the evidence saying that this kid did this, I could see
this is horrible. Yeah, this is
a pretty
horrible.
bad crime.
But they do it for like kids that like robbed a gas station, and I'm just like, I feel like that's not something that's, like he didn't rape. You have to rape your sister and then kill her. Like that's bad. And even then, that's a lot. Yeah. So the prosecutor said, quote, "I don't think the public would tolerate anyone who has committed 3 aggravated murders being on the streets in 45 months.
Probably.
So he's like, I'll get voted out if that happens. So can't be doing that. He is, like I said, charged with all that. That's wild though, that he could have been either death or you can go when you're 21, one or the other.
You know what I've heard also about Washington and their death penalty, James, is they compare your crime to the next person that got the death penalty. And now in the state of Washington, probably nobody will ever get the death penalty again because the Green River killer got life in prison with no possibility.
That
unless
would be
you
difficult.
kill 100 prostitutes, you probably will not
You'd have to kill like 150 to beat Gary. Gary's got who knows how many out there.
It's an unbelievable amount.
So, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
That's basically the way of getting rid of the death penalty across this whole country is making that law a thing.
The standard of
you're only
comparison.
As bad as the worst person, and if they don't have a death penalty, then you can't get it.
We just throw Gary Ridgway out there for everybody, and we go, see?
Are you this bad?
I don't think so. So he pleads not guilty. He pleads innocent to all of this, and in adult court. Obviously, the prosecutor has 30 days whether to decide formally whether to seek the death penalty after that. He's 3 counts of aggravated first-degree murder. Jesus, man. He has 2 attorneys, Sean. They said he was expressionless and just answered not guilty. They call him in the newspaper here during his plea, quote, "Stevenson, a gun enthusiast and experienced hunter, is accused of shooting to death the family members sometime after midnight, then driving 110 miles to Long Beach." Okay, so
at that point, you don't even have to be a hunter or a gun enthusiast.
To shoot somebody from 3 inches away? Probably not. I think anybody could do that.
You don't have to be a very good shot for that.
No, you could have had a stroke 6 months ago and do that, I'm just saying that's
point. Yeah.
Who knows? Anybody could have done that.
Yeah.
Pre-trial comes not a great case to try legally. Not real strong. Much of the physical evidence is inconclusive. Also, friends of the Butler family keep saying that James Butler was erratic, out of work, depressed, alcoholic, drunk all the time, smoking weed, growing fucking marijuana for sale, they said. So, there's a lot of people that could be mad at him, or he could just snap, or there's a lot going on. A state fingerprint examiner said neither rifle bore fingerprints, the .30 caliber in the truck or the .22 by Amy's bed. Couldn't get a usable print off of those. And a blood-stained $100 bill from Stevenson's wallet also had an unusable print on it.
That's not good.
Now, the prosecution, by the way, the blood in his car, that's a good evidence because he's in the house, takes the blood in the car, takes it to there. Right. We got the chain there. That turns out it's deer blood. It's not human blood. They found no human blood in his car. None. Ugats on the human blood in his car. Just deer blood.
Also, gutting deer and then driving your car. Gross.
Yeah, but that's no blood in the car at all.
That's not good. That's not good at all.
They allege that he raped his sister, but combings of her pubic hair for samples of another person were also unsuccessful. So they found no other pubic hair in the area to compare it to. Also, the blood from all the blood here, they said that the semen that they found, because it's a blood type thing in 87, it's not DNA, they couldn't rule out Sean or James Butler. They said they both fell into the category of possible donors of the sperm.
Can you imagine?
Of the semen. So that's interesting there. Now, also, once they get Sean in, he gets a lawyer, he recants his confession as well. Sure. He says that now the defense is that he came home, stumbled upon the bodies, and the one sticking point is stepdad was shot in a chair in the living room, and he ends up in the bedroom with the mother. Okay. So they're like, the body was moved. So someone moved the body. So they're saying that he, in shock, walked in, found his dad in the living room, or stepdad in the living room, found everybody freaked out, brought his stepdad in with his mom, because figured that was like the thing to do. Okay. That's his new thing, and then drove to Long Beach in shock. That's his new claim.
Doesn't make much sense.
Doesn't make much.
Also fucking weird.
None of this makes any sense. That's the crazy part. He has no friends. Yes, he does. He loves his sister, but he killed her. Like, the whole thing is fucking nuts. They said he says that he doesn't remember what happened now. Now he says he's a complete blank on the whole thing. A juvenile court psychiatrist said that he could have gone into shock upon finding the bodies and not known what he confessed to. They said in that state he could be easily led into a confession by people saying, hey, your family's dead, did you kill him, type of shit. Or you said your family's dead, were you the one who killed? So you took the rifle and shot your stepdad? I shot my stepdad. You know what I mean? Like, they said he's like silly putty at that point.
Yeah,
very
easily manipulated.
Malleable, and you can poke your finger in there. The defense, his defense said that it will not use insanity as a defense, though, just shock, which is much different. Shock and amnesia. And his lawyer says that he does not believe that Sean will get a fair trial in the county, because the fucking prosecutor is the goddamn
medical examiner, right?
There's no such thing as getting a fair trial for something like this in this county. There isn't. Yeah. It's all gossip. Everyone has heard about it. The jury pool's contaminated as balls. The whole thing's a mess. So the prosecutor, it does get transferred to another county, by the way, change of venue. So the prosecutor acknowledges that their questions are, they don't know why 2 guns were used on Amy.
Yeah, that's weird.
They can't
rifles. You can't hold 2 rifles at the same time.
No, you can't. But what is he like? Yeah, this isn't the Old West with rifles. Like they said, that doesn't make any sense. And the fact that they believe the 30 caliber was the one used first, based on the way everything went in the house, and they're like, there was no need to use the 22. Yeah. So he wouldn't have shot her with that and put it down and went, let me grab this little one and finish off the job. It just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it's not real. It's not someone in their right mind would do that. It's very weird.
Then taking only one with you as you leave.
Yeah, and then leaving the other one behind.
All those 6 guns, fuck it, I don't need that one.
Yeah, well, I got enough guns. So, again, they said that they were disappointed that the blood found in his truck turned out to be deer blood. That was a big one. They were like, here it is, whole case is made.
I can see that would destroy their day.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, they do discover that Amy was 6 weeks pregnant as well.
What?
At the time. Yes, Amy was pregnant at the time.
Okay.
Amy was pregnant, and we found out that she knew she was pregnant, and the mom knew she was pregnant, but she hadn't announced it to everybody else yet. Don't know who the father was, but she was pregnant.
6 months?
6 weeks.
Oh, okay.
She was or 8 weeks. It was within the first couple months. She just found out she was pregnant recently. Right. So in the last couple weeks. So they took samples from the fetus as well, or not even a fetus at that point. Whatever.
Just a very small
scientific.
Thing. Yeah.
So there's also missing evidence now.
Oh.
Missing evidence. Within a month or two, evidence has been destroyed, lost. It's a fucking disaster, man.
It is a shit show, is what it is.
It's a shit show. Yeah, you got to have. This is what happens when you have a 2-person investigative unit, including the coroner as one of the people.
Yeah.
Jesus fuck, man. The prosecutor says the deputies returned control of the house too quickly to surviving relatives. The prosecutor comes out and says that. We don't have the evidence that we need because these assholes turned it over to them. Because it's not their county. They're in another county now. So that fuck up county sheriff over there, not my fault. That's these assholes. They turned it over. They destroyed evidence while cleaning up, burned the furniture from which police had dug bullets. The sheriff, who was his first day, he says, this is amazing, quote, "What was I to do?" That's what he said.
I didn't know what to do.
In the newspaper. What was I to do? I've got 10 deputies. How long was I supposed to sit in that house and look at those beds in that chair? That's what he said. How long could I keep him protecting the crime scene? Till you don't need the fucking evidence anymore, stupid. That's how long. What are you talking about?
You know who would have known? Whoever ran against you. That's who.
Wow. That is shocking ineptitude. What was I supposed to do? It was time to give it back. I just didn't feel like it anymore. You give it back when the prosecutor says you can fucking give it back, when the evidence isn't needed. Are you nuts? What if they needed you to go back and none of that could happen again? They couldn't go back and...
No.
This county was like, we'd love to go back and we'd love to see the blood spatter patterns, not just in a picture. We'd like to see things. We'd like to be there. None of it exists anymore.
It'd be nice to have the bullet that was in that bed.
Fuck, yeah, that'd be great. We'd like to have that. So the alternative rapist theory from the defense is that James Butler did it. Did the raping.
Okay.
The stepfather.
And then shot himself and moved his body.
Then shot himself and shot himself, and then when he came home, he found everybody dead and moved his stepfather. That's the theory here. That's all he can think of. But James Butler had a vasectomy.
Oh, so...
And they found sperm. Yeah. So that's a problem. So either he had a pretty lousy doctor or it's not him. So there was sperm present, though. So then they're like, so by process of elimination, they just go, well, it's got to be Sean then. Okay. By the way, Grandpa not even tested for shit in this scenario.
Or anybody else in the fucking world.
Or anybody else on New Year's Eve where everybody was running around partying. It was either James or Sean. No other fucking questions. Can't have it. So... A psychiatrist hired by Stevenson testifies that later on that Sean had total amnesia on the day of the shootings. Medically, quote, total amnesia.
Okay.
And he also says that he thinks that Sean should be tried as a juvenile based on a lot of factors. So he said that he needs psychiatric attention. He says, quote, he doesn't react to anything and appears to be in a state of shock. Yeah. That's what the doctor said. So, he says he won't plead insanity, though. That's not going to happen. They said that he is in a severe amnesiac condition about the events, and the defense says he was out celebrating, found them dead, and, went into shock about the whole thing. So they said that he's not insane, not at all, but there you go. So anyway, the trial comes around now, and this is... This gets dumber and dumber, man. This is like, you think there's silly shit happening already. Trials moved, like we said, to Clark County because of extensive publicity and I would just say ineptitude by anyone involved there in any official capacity. The family here, the family's got, the other thing too with James, he's got like money problems. They're going to lose the house. There's so much shit on his shoulders, which is just, it's almost like, it's just very odd. Also, the defense now introduces some new stuff, some Child Protective Services reports about the family. And there was also reports in there of money problems, drinking, abuse, incest but we don't know who on who, but incest has been accused here. Suicide threats also from James, who's apparently, and especially recently at this point, had been threatening suicide all the time while he's shit-faced and angry and sad and everything else. So it's a lot, man. It's a lot. The jurors come in there. They're trying to figure out whether it's admissible to have the 2 Child Protective Services reports about the family. The defense attorney argues that the jury should be familiar with, quote, the tapestry of family distress that led to constant quarrels and threats toward the children. Because apparently there was accusations of abuse from James toward the children in these CPS reports. Yeah. The CPS worker who took the stand didn't want to disclose anything. They were going to cite the state law forbidding his disclosure of these confidential reports. I think if you're in a murder trial and everyone's dead, we can, the judge said that he would read the reports in private and determine if they could be admitted as evidence, and it turns out he does not allow them as evidence.
Well, they are gross.
Which it seems like that's really the only evidence of how the family dynamic works is these reports. Other than that, you're going on, well, I heard down at the general store that he didn't have no friends, and then that James said this and this one said that. These are an actual report.
Yeah, but that tells you those words have to be hideous, whatever's written.
That's the thing. It has to be very inflammatory. Yeah. So the defense, in its opening statement, contended that the murder investigation was flawed by a failure to preserve evidence such as blood-stained walls and sheets and a trail of blood from the chair where James Butler was shot to the bedroom where the body was dragged. All this type of shit. It's all been pushed aside. The defense said that the Butlers ran a, quote, commercial-sized marijuana growing operation in their garage attic and had experienced family problems as well. Mm-hmm. Thing is here, though, state criminalists said that he found, quote, only 6 marijuana plants and all of them were pretty much dead.
Okay.
So he was just bad at growing weed or get given up on that batch or whatever, that shit. They said that the plants were about 3 to 6 inches tall. Mm-hmm. So the defense theory that they put forth is that James Butler, in a fit of depression or anger or whatever the fuck, killed his wife, raped his stepdaughter, and then killed her and then turned the weapon on himself. And then Sean came home, went, oh, my God, and whatever.
It's a hell of a story.
It's a lot. Everyone was shot from a distance of less than 2 feet. So very, very close.
Jesus, God.
Turned the gun on himself. So they said, the prosecutor said Butler was shot from a distance of the prosecutor was trying to say that, well, he couldn't have killed himself and all that. And the defense said, I can't see any other way a person can hold this rifle and be more than 2 feet away and kill yourself. So that the fact that it's close means he killed himself, obviously, or could have killed himself. Now, Butler's son, Roger Butler, he is the adopted son of Roger, but it's a son. He's just not natural. Said that Sean had a reputation in his community for being aggressive. And he said that he, quote, does have an extremely sensitive temper. That's what he testified.
Okay.
Prosecution says it's not suicide. Pathology experts ruled out suicide in an explanation here. Dr. Larry D. Lumen, a pathologist, said, quote, I can't conceive of a scenario where any of these wounds were self-inflicted. Okay. Roger Eli, a criminologist in the Washington State Patrol's crime lab, said the same thing and backed him up. He examined the scene of the crime, the family's 2-level home, testified that the weapons that were found not close enough to the victims to indicate suicide. Okay. It's only one. The one was there, the 22. Which she couldn't have shot herself with a 30 caliber and then picked up a 22 and done it again after she raped herself, probably. So that's a silly thing to even fucking bring up.
And threw somebody else's jizz on her.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Not Ridiculous. Just that, but like you can't use
that's
a
obvious.
30-30 and shoot from 2 feet away to shoot yourself. You can't do it.
Well, no, you'd have to.
You can't get a barrel 2 feet away from right.
You'd have to have less than 2 feet. Less than 2 feet.
All right.
That's all they can tell.
You'd have to have a very long arm.
I assume less than 2 feet means there's powder burns.
Okay.
That's how they could tell and how they know it's that close. There's a scene in this court that's so ridiculous where they're passing guns all around the court.
Look at this one. Have a look at this.
It's serious. The paper says this. A half dozen guns were passed so often between lawyers and witnesses that Superior Court Judge Robert Harris was prompted to tell the participants, quote, when handling the rifles, please don't point them at the jurors. And the prosecutor said, quote, or the prosecution. It's a joke.
Yeah.
So
they're just holding them up, running their eyes down the sights. Just aiming it right at juror number 3.
That's all. Hey, what do you think of that, Chief? This isn't intimidation. So a psychiatrist testifies saying that Sean suffers from psychogenic amnesia or loss of memory caused by a traumatic event. Stevenson himself also testifies in this case. Sean gets up there and cries and says he doesn't remember. He remembered nothing for several hours after walking into the living room and finding his stepfather in a chair. That's the last thing he remembers seeing. He saw that. Dr. Rogers Clark, who's a psychiatrist from Portland, said that the condition renders his alleged confessions unreliable. Says someone in that state could be very mushy, like we said, very silly putty. Now, Sean on the stand, he broke into tears twice in the 3 hours of testimony, and he repeatedly answered, "I don't know," to the prosecutor's persistent questions about the slayings. And that's it. The psychologist said Clark said that people with such amnesia tend to fill in the blanks out of fear, and often you can help them fill in the blanks very easily.
Speculation,
they're very suggestible of that. So through that, they discount it. They call him a classic amnesiac. Classic amnesia here.
I've heard of like 3 cases in the history of the world where that. I mean, I imagine there's more than, but the times that it's been used as a defense have all been bullshit.
Or there is a traumatic state where that'll happen, and if you were going to have that happen to you when you're a kid, it would probably happen the most when you're 16 or whatever the fuck. So, I mean, I could see that. You could end up like the kid in The Shining, just like all shaken with his mouth open. Who the hell knows? You know?
Generally, the amnesia doesn't happen on account of you murdered a bunch of fucking people.
Well, it's a traumatic event is what they're saying. So on the stand, though, this guy also concedes that committing these horrible murders could cause this state.
Okay.
The trauma of both either finding the bodies or doing it, could fucking do this. 2 psychiatrists testified that Sean showed signs of psychogenic amnesia. And the one said that he was, quote, 99.44% sure. Very accurate. It's a very, you know what that is?
What machine did he use to get that measurement?
You know what that is?
What?
I got a clean 99.4. Think about that. What is that? It's an Ivory soap commercial. Look on an Ivory soap. That's literally Ivory soap.
That's where he got it.
99.44% pure. That's what Ivory soap says. So he's 99.44% sure that he was not faking.
So he did it with the Ivory soap jingle
in his fucking head, which was out in the 80s and early 90s.
Yeah.
I got a clean as real as ivory. Remember that shit? Yeah, that's what it was.
I've never heard that.
Old commercials. So, he said that they tend to fill in the gaps with memories, quote, not founded in fact here. Okay. Now, this goes to the jury, and before the verdict comes out, the defense lawyer, John Day, said that he thought the 6-man, 6-woman jury was, quote, the most perfect jury Sean could hope to get. They were all the people they wanted. They were open-minded. They were, smart people, all that, he's saying.
Best chance.
He said that he was hampered, the defense was hampered by lack of physical items that were evidence that were destroyed before they could have any experts analyze them. Okay. So they have to go on what the state said, and they're saying that they're pretty fucking incompetent. And, not to mention the fact that the semen samples were lost after they were tested. Shit like that. Like, that's important. 3 years later, you could find out the DNA and know 100% what's going on, and, case closed. So
forget letting off a kid that may or may not have done it. Even if he didn't do it, and you've gotten rid of all this shit, you can't prove who did do it ever.
Ever.
This whole thing just goes unsolved forever.
That's it. So it's crazy. Either way, or you want to prove that he did do it, for fuck's sake. One of the two. You want to know what the hell's going on. The jury ends up coming back after 2.5 days of deliberations on this one.
Positive.
2.5 days. Sean bows his head, and they said he's kind of getting teary-eyed and everything. He is a child and all. So the verdict is announced, and he is guilty.
Wow.
Of thrice aggravated murder. But they don't find him guilty of rape somehow, which is odd. So he gets 2 aggravated murders, and it's very weird the way it comes down. Found guilty of 1 count of aggravated first-degree murder and 2 counts of first-degree murder is how it ended up being. So The prosecutor said he was very satisfied with the verdict, and they said that they asked him why the aggravated murder and only the death of his sister and not his parents. And they said evidence at the trial showed she had been raped, and he said, quote, they probably felt the killing of the Butlers was a result of rage. Maybe they had some problem with the scheme. So basically they were saying that maybe they were rage and then the sister was another thing, and that's what they were giving him the aggravated for.
Okay.
So the family's reaction to this, James Butler's son, James Butler Jr., I guess, he's 21, he said he hoped that Sean would be sentenced to death. I hope my stepbrother is murdered.
That is a lot.
He says, quote, we're happy. We're glad to see justice done. We just hope the scum gets what's coming to him.
James, you got to calm down, bud, because we don't know for sure. This is a bit much.
That's a lot. The Lorena Butler, who is the James's mother, she said, I think justice is being done, but it won't bring my son back. That, by the way, is the correct response. Right. And
more so,
she said she favors the death penalty for him, though. She does want that. She likes it for him. For him, in this case, at least. So, sentencing, prosecution has been wanting the death penalty, we told you, from day one. They said they were pressing. Once the actual sentencing hearing comes up, the Skamania County prosecutor, Robert Leake, tells the jury that he was wrong. He gets in front of the jury, and he's supposed to say, kill this boy. Right. And instead, he says, I was wrong. He said, I shouldn't have originally sought the death penalty here to begin with, and we shouldn't give him the death penalty. He said that he changed his mind after speaking to 2 psychologists who said that either way, whether he remembered or not, he suffered from severe emotional problems. And he said he told the jury in the opening statement of this that he originally sought it because he said that Stevenson's age and relatively insignificant criminal record did not merit the leniency. And he says, quote, I was wrong.
Yeah.
After that, he said, though,
severe stress like that makes the meat real gamey. We can't eat him afterwards.
We ain't gonna eat him. He's not going to help us catch the squatch. I mean,
that'll make the chili gross. We can't do it.
Bad chili. We don't want that. He said that he does think that Sean was sane at the time of the killings. He says, though, he was, quote, was and is severely mentally disturbed. Then he says, this is the prosecutor, quote, I ask you respectfully to consider leniency. The prosecutor said that.
Yeah. And
prosecutor. And the paramedic. He's a different one. Okay. He's a different guy.
The other county,
right. The Hansen, who was this defense attorney, Eugene Hansen, and he said that the prosecution psychologist testified on Stevenson's behalf in the penalty stage, as did the fucking prosecutor. Mm-hmm. And they said that the lack of his explosive violence before the slayings showed he was building up stress and tension for a long time. They described the youth as, quote, severely emotionally disturbed, and saying he must have been under the influence of extreme mental disturbance at the time of the crime. The jury only takes 25 minutes to come back. If both sides are asking for the same thing, who are you to say no? So the jury decides to send him, you, sir, may fuck off, life in prison without parole. Wow. No parole here. Then, for the other crimes around, whatever, gun crimes and all this other shit, he also receives 2, he has 1 life without parole, and then for the other 2 murders, he has 2 concurrent 320-month sentences that are, and then also life without parole, so who gives a shit? Right. So, June 1987, they give him some more time.
For what?
This is already facing a sentence of life in prison without parole. He's given an additional 26 and a half years for the mother and stepfather. That's the extra months he's given on there. Wow. They heard all sorts of evidence about premeditation, but I don't see it. Premeditation, there's not a lot there that says that premeditation happened.
This kid went drinking with his friends and then went home to murder his family. None of this
at 2 a.m. on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's so strange.
At 16 years old, he doesn't have enough stressor in his life to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What did he have? The mortgage payments? I mean, what the hell has he got going on here?
How do you ring in 87 and then just be like, it's my year to kill?
The only thing I could think is maybe if you knocked up your sister, maybe. I have no idea. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying, I'm definitely not accusing her of that or any of that. I'm just saying maybe that's what he thought, or maybe that's why he did that. I don't know what his brain was thinking. I don't know if he mixed up his timelines and was like, I raped her before that happened. I have no clue what the hell the guy's thinking. They said that Stevenson may have had problems in his relationship with the Butlers, but in no way did I hear evidence that would have justified Amy Stevenson's rape and death. That's what the judge said. And another deputy prosecutor told the judge that if they didn't give him more time on top of the life without parole, it would be like Stevenson is getting, quote, 2 free murders. So give him the same sentence to run concurrently with the one he has. So
can't go out there just taking murders. You got to pay. You got to pay what they're worth. And free murders.
Free murders. So life without parole, which seems like he is going to never see the light of day again.
Never.
There you go. Until March of 88, when he and 2 other inmates escaped from jail.
Oh, Stevenson, you're not making a case for yourself here.
And then he becomes hilarious and a huge asshole. It's funny as shit. So he's 17 at this point. He escapes. They flee the facility sometime between 7:30 and 9 p.m. The State Department of Corrections spokesman said, "We consider them to be very dangerous." Yes. Yeah. One of them's a triple murderer, so yeah.
Right. And one of those murders was his sister,
who he also raped. The 3 people are obviously Sean and Gary C. Van Winkle, who was also 17.
Yeah.
He pleaded no contest to an attempted murder charge and a charge of second-degree burglary. The attempted murder is connected to a September 86 break-in at a North Seattle home in which a 14-year-old boy was stabbed several times in his chest, hands, and head, but survived.
Jesus.
So he tried to kill a child and failed. That's what happened there.
And then escaped.
And then escaped. Patrick J. Rice, who's 23, he pleaded guilty to 10 counts of second-degree burglary and 1 count of taking a motor vehicle without owner's permission. Okay. He admitted breaking into 5 Bellevue area churches and stealing the property. Very nice people here. This is a trio of wonderful people. So they said they're still investigating it. It appears they fled over a 12-foot fence topped with razor wire along the north perimeter of the facility there. Fucking
That's
ridiculous.
A hell of a climb.
It's a climb. They said we noticed that we've notified the victims and the Butler family and an aunt and uncle in Minnesota and the judge Robert Harris. So notify the victims, hey, watch out. Notify, the family if they come to you, fucking call us.
Right.
And then tell the judge because he's going to have to, sentence him to more. Van Winkle, while in custody, vowed to return to his victim's house in Seattle and, quote, finish the job.
Jeez.
They escaped. Jesus Christ. All 3 were in Pine Hall, which is a training branch of the Shelton Correctional Facility. They were present for 6 p.m. prisoner count, but gone when the jailers returned again at 9 p.m. That's fucking amazing.
So
they were in the
3-hour head start at least.
They were in the process of being evaluated for placement in other places. Mm-hmm. So more security is my suggestion. For
we've evaluated from here.
Fuck. So what happened? About 8 p.m. on March 23rd, the 3 men lagged behind a group of prisoners walking between the Pine Hall minimum security unit and a checkpoint leading to the gym. It was dark, so they climbed an interior fence behind the walkway without being seen. The first fence had no barbed wire on the top, and it didn't get him out of the prison. It just got him to the next layer of fencing. Right. So it got him out of the normal path of immediate traffic. So they used the sides of the building for cover. They literally snuck around with their backs against the buildings. And they worked their way to an area along the fence blocked from the view of the nearest man guard tower. They knew the spot that was blind. Sean said later on, he'll say that he noticed the blind spot during his stay in the reception center. He noticed it. He said, quote, everybody knew about it. He said, but we should have been seen going over there because there was a truck parked down there. We didn't notice it till we were over the first fence. So there was a truck with somebody in it that should have noticed. The truck was parked outside the prison only 50 yards from the inmates who were standing in a narrow strip between the prison's double fences. The truck suddenly drove off, though, without ever seeing them.
Wow.
They were like, lucky us.
He didn't see 3 inmates jumping fences.
Climb a fence.
Had no idea.
So then they climbed up on a roll of razor wire at the foot of the second fence. Finding they didn't need a raincoat they brought along to help stabilize the wire. They just climbed up on top of that is what they did, and jumped up, put the raincoat on them there. They climbed the cyclone fence. They got a shitload of cuts, though, from the razor wire. They're all cut up, all of them. Palms bleeding and all that sort of shit. And they headed for the Dayton Airport Road looking for their getaway car that they had planned. Sean had a getaway car all ready and scheduled to be there at that time. But as Sean said, quote, the guy never showed up.
No? He didn't want to help a fucking lunatic out?
He said, I knew he wasn't coming. You can't count on nobody.
No.
You can't count on nobody, man. Not your brother to not kill you, not your friends to not help you escape from prison.
Not your son to not murder you and your husband.
Oh, so it's a dark, cold night. They said it was looking like it was going to rain. About 11 o'clock, 3 hours after they got out, and 2 hours after head count noticed they were missing, they ended up popping out onto a small hill overlooking Highway 101 near a dirt path called California Road. Across the highway, they could see a long shed. So they bolted across the highway, broke into this shed. It's like a trailer thing, where they spent the next 4 days.
Oh, God.
There was food in there. They found food, potato chips, peanut butter, crackers, things like that, he said.
Easy, yeah.
Quote, in the boats stored nearby. So there's like boats near there.
Oh,
so they do all this. They also found soda and beer, which is fucking hilarious.
They got drunk, too.
They also found a gun.
What?
But it was broken, but they had time to try to repair it. So they tried to repair the gun, but they couldn't get the hammer to draw back. Okay. There's something wrong with it. So, during the day, they slept or they watched TV in the trailer, because there's a TV in there, getting the latest news on the search. To find out if they were close. His hands started to heal up from the razor wire. And, nobody knew that they're like 30 feet from the highway. They're right there.
They're right
Cops
across
driving
the street.
by all the time. They even occasionally went outside, walked around a little bit. So from watching TV, they learned that prison authorities had distributed an outdated photograph of him. They gave like the old photograph of him.
He doesn't look like that anymore.
Now he's got long hair. Before he was clean shaven and had short hair. Now he's got long hair and a big mustache.
Easy.
So he looks nothing like this. Unfortunately for another young man who was on a Greyhound bus from Olympia to Tacoma, it did look a lot like him.
Stop the bus, guns drawn?
So guns drawn, pull this bastard, you piece of shit motherfucker, you sister raping, mother killing bastard, fucking roughed him up, brought him in for questioning, all this. We know it's you bastard. And Stevenson saw that on TV, that they caught the guy. He said, quote, I thought, all right, let them keep this guy. That would have been nice. That's what he said. They can have him. Great, I'm gone. So finally, though, they realized that wasn't him. It was a different guy. They let him go. And after 4 days in the trailer, they ran out of food.
Yeah.
And so Sean said that they thought it was time to go. So they stole a vehicle and money from Lori Bloom and Michael Cook, who lived right nearby. They didn't just break in and steal him. They tied Michael Cook up when, Lori Bloom told them that their 4-month-old baby was sick, so they didn't tie her up. They let her take care of the baby, but they tied up the guy and took their money. They planned to cut the telephone line, but forgot.
I figured it out going down the road. Good thing we cut that telephone line, right? Who cut the telephone line?
That, right?
I don't even. It was my job. Whose job?
I ain't even got the knife. You got the knife. How the hell am I supposed to cut the damn? Oh man, Jesus Christ!
Whose job?
So they forgot and headed south.
Hilarious. I thought you were going to do it.
Once they realized it, they said, quote, I knew the lady was going to call the police. I just wanted to steal another car real quick, maybe tie up whoever was there and get out of there. I'd seen a few cop cars already. I knew they were after me. So, unfamiliar with this county they're in, Mason County, they stole several cars at gunpoint to switch vehicles.
That doesn't raise red flags, guys. You're all right.
No, all over the place. Multiple carjackings with a gun that doesn't work. And they never figured out where they wanted to go, though, because they didn't know where they were going. And they were in too much of a hurry to tie anybody up. So people were, just whatever. One of the men reportedly hit that Cook guy in the head with a crowbar, but otherwise they weren't violent besides that. That's the only form of violence in like 7 robberies was hitting him with a crowbar and then tying him up and then being nice to the wife. Okay. Sean said, quote, if you hurt somebody, you're going to get more time if you get caught. Right. Why hurt anybody when there isn't any need to hurt anybody, even if you're desperate, which is logical and reasonable. The chase ends several hours later after they left the shed and stole several cars. They got caught at a roadblock. They surrendered peacefully with Sean telling them there was a gun under the seat.
Right.
They popped out and they were fine. So Jesus Christ.
So he was sent back to jail.
It was only a minimum or medium security facility out of consideration for his age, they said. So they find out 2 weeks before, he talked with a friend who promised to provide the getaway car, and a few days after that, he approached Van Winkle and Rice with his plan, and they said, shit, we're in, and they just secretly discussed it in their cells for 2 weeks. He and the others, they climbed over the blind spot, like we said, all of that shit. It's fucking hilarious, man.
My friend forgot what day or what time. Listen, there's a lot of shit that goes on the outside. I forget things like this.
Yeah, shit happens, man.
They
sometimes
scheduled
you forget
me for a shift at that time, and you weren't out here for me to tell you. I'm sorry.
He says once they catch him and everything, he says he doesn't regret the escape at all.
Wow.
He says, quote, we took a chance and the chance paid off. It was worth it for getting out. That's what he said.
Did
it was
it
worth
pay off? I mean,
we took a chance. The chance paid off. It was worth getting out. That's what he said. He was totally worth it. He said it was a lot of fun and, it was better than not escaping, which is great. He also said, this is the police officer said, quote, they were as peaceful as can be. They didn't have anywhere to go and they knew it. That's when they were captured. Peaceful as can be. And also they said they had committed a ton of robberies, stole 3 cars, did all this shit, and they said, quote, apparently they weren't out to hurt anybody. All they were out for was a ride. Yeah. So they were impressed with their lack of violence there. With officers in pursuit, the car veered off the federal highway onto a state route where it was surrounded just outside the town. It was in Shelton, and that was that. So about the escape, this is great. They said, well, why the fuck did you do it? I mean, fuck, man. He said, quote, they told me I was never going to get out. I did.
So prove them wrong.
He said, they told me I was never going to get out. I did. If it was only for 4 days, still, you've got to prove the prosecutor wrong. What an asshole.
He fucking did it, man. He's a piece of garbage.
I think he did it, yeah. He's got scars on his palm and all this. He said freedom was his goal and his ultimate goal. But, quote, I guess I kind of like the adrenaline rush. You've got to live life on the edge.
He's a scumbag. He's a complete piece of shit.
Yeah, he does. He maintains his innocence, though, of the murder. He said he didn't do that. He said, quote, his case is up for appeal, and he said, quote, I'm going to try to get out legally this time. If that doesn't work, I'll have to try to escape again.
Well, he
doesn't give a fuck.
Absolutely calling his shot.
I would say. They charged him and the other 2 faced charges of first-degree escape and first-degree robbery. And he's like, I mean, I'm in for life without, so it doesn't really matter. And then he says that there are 2 other weak spots in the security, in the fence line and on other areas. He said, though, he won't tell anybody what they are right now because he said, quote, hopefully sometime someone else will find one. Oh, man. He said during his 16 months in jail, escape has never been far from his thoughts. He said while he was at the county jail, he noticed a loose window grill during a janitorial assignment, but was switched to another job before he had a chance to escape through it. A second plan failed when a girlfriend inadvertently gave him away in a letter intercepted by prison authorities. And his plan was to flee the state and head south. He said, quote, I was going to Texas or Florida, earn some money, and get out of the country. That was his plan.
It is fascinating, the getaway attempts from these. Nobody's getting out anymore. You know what I mean? When they do get out, there is a fucking manhunt that is countrywide.
And it's a huge deal. This was like constant. You just walk right out. 2 weeks ago, we had the Marion guy. Yeah. Our crime and sports this week. The guy fucking walked right out of jail, and they chased him, and he escaped. It was crazy. He's in the intensive management unit now.
Good.
Which I guess is extra security. They said he can read books and magazines, and if he peers out his window just right, he can watch the corner of a television screen. So that's what he's got going on right now.
You can see the leg.
Yeah,
he can see the temperature and time of the news channel.
Is this Cheers or 60 Minutes? What am I watching here? I can't tell. It's 89. One of those is on. So inmates, they plead to the escapes here. They just take a plea. They're like, whatever, who gives a shit? He pleads guilty to escape, and what do they give him? An extra couple of whatever the fuck it is. It doesn't matter. An additional 170 months in prison.
Yeah,
he gets, which he doesn't care.
What is
more than 10 years?
That's 10 years. Holy fuck!
Yeah, it's more than that. So I mean, escape on a murder charge.
Wow.
And then with robberies, and because they plead all that too, robbery.
Is that 15 years? 170 months?
That's
a lot.
120 is 10 years.
Yeah,
so that's a lot.
50 more months is 5 years, right? Jesus, 4.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
So for him, it doesn't matter though.
No, it doesn't.
October '89 is his appeal though, and he says that he'd like to win his appeal, and if he does, he's going to spend the rest of his life fishing in Alaska. That's all there is to it. He said before his arrest, he planned to go to college. He wanted to study computers. And he said, quote, "A lot of people consider me a loner. I like to be by myself." So now in this appeal, Sean first contends that the evidence obtained from his house should have been suppressed because he thinks it's illegally seized.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
He says now, acknowledges, officers of Converse and Ford, these brand name motherfuckers, they're allowed.
Yeah.
They were allowed in the house because of maintains that the emergency created by the discovery of the crimes, they could come in. They're supposed to come in, make sure no one's injured or an assault isn't happening in progress, a murder. Yeah. Once they cleared the house and said it's all just dead people and blood spatter, that's when he says that the investigatory unit should have gotten a warrant to then go in to seize items and do all that. The court says, quote, he is wrong. And that's all it's like. You're allowed to go in there.
It's once you find things that now it's you find bodies. That's fucking probable cause.
Yeah. Plus it wasn't his house. Also, it was the people's house where they were dead already. There's also property issues. It all goes away. He also, now the evidence that Sean contends that the certain items of evidence were destroyed or improperly preserved and that others were never collected at all. He asserts that 3 kinds of potentially exculpatory evidence were not available to him. 1, the state did not keep careful records of body temperatures or stomach contents, which could have demonstrated the sequence in which the victims were killed. Okay. All that's important shit. The state did not take hair samples from James Butler, nor did it preserve blood samples taken from him or semen samples taken from Amy Butler as to permit cross-matching in a manner other than just ABO typing system, which is how they did this whole thing. And the state did not preserve the chair in which Butler was sitting when he was shot, blood spatter patterns, possible fingerprints, footprints, which could have demonstrated the angle of fire, approximate range in which the firing occurred. He said, we are mindful of the fragile nature of this potential evidence and agree that the state should have expended greater effort to preserve it. That's the appeals court saying this.
Yeah.
However, we do not believe that the unavailability of this evidence violated Stevenson's due process right to fair trial. In cases where there's been an inadvertent or good faith loss of evidence, the court must weigh the burden imposed on the defendant in proving the exculpatory value of the lost evidence against the burden imposed on the prosecution of preserving all potentially material evidence. So, basically,
what the fuck does that mean?
That means that who cares is what that means. There was other shit and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because it says that in doing so, first must consider whether the defendant has established a reasonable possibility that the missing evidence would have affected the defendant's ability to present a defense. Okay. The burden of establishing that reasonable possibility rests with the defendant. Reasonableness must be determined in light of the peculiar circumstance of each case. Lost or destroyed evidence which does not rise to the level of establishing a reasonable possibility that it will exculpate a defendant will be deemed insufficiently material to constitute a due process violation. So there you go. The probable weapons, what are we talking about here? They talk about the blood was found on the defendant's shoes. So they did find blood on the shoes, but it's type B, which is his blood type. Okay. So he could have bled on his own shoes. Who knows? Money, the blood on the money that they couldn't get the fingerprint off was type AB, which I believe was his mom's blood type. And James Butler had B blood. Margaret Butler had AB blood. Mm-hmm. And the defendant here has type A blood. But they said that either he or James could have been the semen people based on lack of elimination. So I don't know. I needed like a serologist to tell me how that shit works. I don't know. And finally, there is testimony from one person that said that Sean had made a threat against the life of his mother, which there's also 20 people who said he was really nice to his mom. So that's weird. They said that there was the review of everything shows there was no reasonable possibility any of this lost evidence would have been exculpatory, and therefore we need not reach the second consideration. So fuck off is what they said. He also says that the juvenile court should have taken this case, not the adult court.
Probably, yeah.
There's 8 factors here that make it a juvenile case. 1, the defendant's lack of a record of prior convictions. Number 2, defendant's sophistication and attitude. Number 3, his prospects for rehabilitation in the juvenile system. Also, the other 5 factors that they go on, he's not citing these. He's only citing the 3. Are seriousness of the alleged offense and whether the protection of the community necessitates prosecution of the case under the adult system, degree of premeditation, willfulness, violence, and aggression. The next one is whether the alleged offense was against persons or property, greater weight being given to the offenses against persons, especially if injury resulted. I would say so. 4, the prosecutive merit of the complaint, and 5, the desirability of trial and disposition of the entire offense in one court when the defendant's associates are adults. So, he maintains the first 3 factors indicated positive aspects of his character and did not support being sent to adult court. Therefore, he argues that the juvenile court was required to retain jurisdiction, and they say, no, it's not. Was not at all. They found that his prospectus for reasonable rehabilitation within the amount of time available in the juvenile system were highly speculative, which... yeah, if you're willing to kill your mom, your stepdad, and rape and kill your sister, I don't know if 3 years or 4 years is going to be enough to solve that. That seems like a real problem.
Fucking 16. At 16 years old, he overtook 3 adults and had his raped.
It seems
his
like
sister.
A problem.
That's
a lot.
Yeah, that kid's dangerous.
Yeah. They noted at least one of the psychologists who had examined Stevenson questioned whether he was treatable at all. He said he might be a lost cause. Mm-hmm. He considered the serious and violent nature of the crimes and indications of willfulness and premeditation and concluded that they needed to send him to adult court for the safety of the community.
Of everybody.
And of everybody. So it ends up being upheld. The appeal, you, sir, may keep fucking off there. Go on. They said the errors weren't that big of a deal. Now, there's another thing here. March 2017, laws have changed of when you can sentence 16-year-olds to life without the possibility of parole. Right. He was 16 years old, but there's since then Washington passed a bill that says courts can't sentence juveniles to life without parole, even if they're found guilty of first-degree murder. And because his killings happened before the bill was passed, they had to re-sentence him, but he's still eligible for the life without parole because
now he's an adult.
Because it happened before he was his shit happened before the law was passed.
Got it. Okay.
So he's grandfathered in, and they give him you, sir, may fuck off, and he has quite the fuck off here. This is what the judge said here.
Oh boy.
Quote, Mr. Stevenson, your actions back on New Year's Day, 1987, rocked the community. The brutal and heinous, cold-blooded and calculated execution of your 3 family members shattered the innocence of a whole community. When you made the conscious decision to shoot and kill your mother and stepfather, and when you made the conscious decision to shoot and kill and then rape your sister. This is the first time it comes out that the rape was post-mortem.
Wow.
I saved it till now because it didn't come out until the very fucking end.
That's when it came out. Staggering.
That's way worse somehow. I don't know. I guess it's not, but it just makes it. I don't even know how to. You know what? We're parsing horrible things. Right. That's just horrible. So, rape your sister. You showed this community what the face of pure evil looks like. The savage murder and rape of your sister are not the facts of an unfortunate offender exhibiting transient immaturity. Those are the acts of an irreparably corrupt young man. Wow. You, sir, may fuck off. Life without parole. Again. Eat all the dicks.
Hang on to this for us.
Hang on to that here. There was, I think it's sold now, but there was a picture on Amazon that I found, Canadian Amazon.
What did he do?
Look at him. Press photo. Whoa. There's just a picture of him, like a press photo that you could buy of him looking back in court at a photographer here.
Did he autograph that? What is that?
No, that's the newspaper. It's from the newspaper. That picture, I have it. I will post that as one of the pictures in social media from the newspaper. I have it in black and white.
And
it says it's got the image sizes, and then it says Stevenson circled and all that kind of shit. So that though, that was available there, which is really weird. Honestly, that was like you could buy that shit. But that, everybody, is Skamania, Washington. And one fucking hell of a crazy-ass story.
What a tale.
That's a wild... I couldn't believe that shit. It feels like we would have heard of that before, that case, for some reason.
There was a documentary called Why Did Johnny Kill on HBO when I was a kid. I don't know what... it may have been HBO. It could have been something else. I don't know. But that's what I watched. And it was about kids that kill their whole fucking family. I was maybe 10 when I watched that. I don't know why they didn't talk about this. This is fucking crazy.
This is wild. I don't get, like... I've seen a lot of those where there's people who kill their whole families, especially teenage boys who do it. But this one's just weirder than those for some reason. It's different.
There's a sexual element,
sexual aspect to it. It just feels weird. And the fact that unwaveringly through this whole thing, those 2 guys that he was hanging out with said, we all heard those gunshots together, man, and we heard them. And that was like,
there's no way, right?
So somebody's mistaken.
Yeah.
Timelines are off. Somebody's lying. Somebody's this. Somebody's that. Who knows? Maybe fucking grandpa killed the whole family.
You know what, James? This is the only time in my life where I'm just thinking, I wish there was jizz. I wish we had it.
Yeah, where's that jizz?
I wish we had the jizz.
Maybe Grandpa Kaiser Sosa'd the whole situation, though. Maybe after that, like... They cleared everybody out, and next thing you know, he was sitting there with like a pipe in his mouth and a smoking jacket and going,
got rid of them all.
Got rid of them all now. And he's sitting there fucking just watching 60 Minutes in his glory because he's old. So, yeah, anyway, that is Skamania, Washington. Hope you enjoyed that show. If you did, a couple of ways you can tell us. One of those would be to... give us a review, whatever app you're listening on, whatever platform. Give us 5 stars, 10 stars, 100 stars. You can follow us on social media. Tell us to our goddamn faces if you want. You can follow us at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, and at Small Town Murder on Instagram.
Right.
Any one of those will do the trick here. You can also head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets to live shows.
Do it.
You got to do it. Shutupandgivememurder.com. We're going to be all over the place. Yep. Check for dates that still have tickets. Yep. I know Brea Improv next month. Get your asses there.
Out.
LA. And there is a second Seattle show in December there. It's a Thursday and a Friday show. So the Thursday show still has, I think we have like half the tickets left, but Friday
we added it because you guys sold out Seattle so fast.
We sold it immediately, so we added it. So let's sell that bad boy out too. Don't let Portland beat you. There's 2 sold out shows in Portland. You don't want to already sold out? Well, don't let them beat you, Seattle. I know you guys compete up there in the Pacific Northwest for I don't know, moisture, dampness, serial killers.
Moist supremacy.
Moist serial killer supremacy. So good for you. Do all of that. Check all that out at shutupandgivememurder.com. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Mm-hmm. The episodes we posted this week are really good. You're going to enjoy them. And they're good all the time. Sorry, but we're proud of our Patreon. Yep. We really are. This week, anybody over the $5 level, by the way, always gets access to both shows' Patreon episodes. Anything bonus we put out, you're going to get. So this week, Crime and Sports episode is about Christy Martin, the female boxer who, number one, just a badass boxer, and number two, had one of the craziest end of career outside lives of anybody. Violence with her and her husband. There's shootings and stabbings, and it's absolutely nuts. Check that out. And then for Small Town Murders, we don't even need to sell this because you guys know it's up with this. The Prisoner Dating Game, all violent felon edition is back, everybody. And I think maybe we might have had our best one this time. We've been told that anyway by people.
Possible, yeah.
We had terrible, awful people that Jimmy had to choose from, and he might have picked the worst one of all of them. It's hilarious. So check that out. Patreon.com/crime and sports. And since you're a wonderful donor, and that's near and dear to our hearts, you get a shout out as well. Jimmy's going to mispronounce your name while trying to pronounce it properly. We're going to be very happy about that. And if you just want to make a donation and be a very nice person and have our undying love, affection, and loyalty, you can do that over at PayPal also, using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com.
Right.
That said, damn it, Jimmy, I need to hear good things from wonderful people. Hit me with the names of the people who would never, ever, ever do any of the shit that happened this week. I won't even go through it because it's just gross. Hit me with them, Jimmy.
This week's executive producers are Jordan Bennett, Ashley Long, Tony Pittman, and Sky Harrison in Australia. Happy birthday, Sky. Sean Fitzgerald and Sean Cervantes. You guys are terrific people. Thank you so much. Sky, I hope your birthday is incredible. Other producers are Leah and Amanda got married, James, and they looked fantastic. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Nancy Weaver, Madeline Frazee, Tobias Funk or Funky, Samantha McLovin Quigley donated both.
Funke, Jimmy. It's fucking Arrested Development.
Funke?
Tobias Funke.
It's Funk.
What
is that?
He's both an analyst and a therapist. He's the world's first analrapist.
I don't know who he is.
Think about how that's spelled. It's great. It's from Arrested Development, the show. It's David Cross's character in Arrested Development.
It's fucking I know. Look,
Tobias Funke.
She is terrific.
He's a never nude.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's my friend in Minnesota who enjoys giving me names that I don't know who they are.
Great.
And appreciates when we do find them. So she's going to be thrilled that you knew who that was.
Absolutely.
I don't know who that is.
He's great.
Who was he on Arrested Development? Who played him?
David Cross.
Oh, it was David Cross? That was his name?
David Cross. Yeah.
I didn't know his name on that show.
Yeah, that's him.
Oh,
he's great.
Crying in the shower is my favorite fucking scene ever.
with his shorts on.
Shorts. Samantha McLovin Quigley donated twice just on PayPal, not even on Patreon. I'm sure she's a patron. Thank you so much. Also. She's terrific.
So.
Thank you. Peyton Meadows, Shitta Perlman Jr., Rabbi Shmulovich, Liz Vasquez, Jedit Chaos had a birthday, 8th birthday. Happy birthday.
Wow. Well, happy birthday to you. You shouldn't be listening to this.
James Martyr, Hugh G. Rection. Are you proud of yourself?
Oh, very nicely
Joseph Ruffino in PA. Jennifer Ward, Chad Brennan Stool. Gross. CB Handle Happy Hour. Long Haul Trucker. Thank you so much. Ed Hitchcock, M. Ninny. Sue Miller had a birthday. Happy birthday, Sue.
Happy
Jamie
birthday,
Harris.
Sue.
Thank you, Jamie. She sent a nice note with her donation. Ben Wishall and Jen Hoover. Nick Ruggiero, Brian Matvey, Robert Bauer, Susanna Platt, Janice Hill, Frank the South African Birdwasher, Sarah Gardner, Dion Brass, Unscripted Wimmy Gisman, of course, obviously, Derek Mihalchin. How much do you regret professing that?
I'm so annoyed. Remember when I said that before?
Yeah.
Just say hi.
Just let it go.
Don't be funny because you're not a comedian. That's what I mean by that.
Sandy
That's why I said that. People mean well, and they make me hate them when they're being nice. That's the thing.
Happy birthday, Sandy. It's Stephanie Taylor. Stephanie Swika. She's at freshairfriendship.com. She has a blog where she and her best friend are traveling to all the state parks.
Cool. Nobody kill each other.
Keep your hands in your pockets.
Hands to yourselves, ladies.
Tina Perkins, Neighbor, Misty Westfall, Dolores Durko, Kennedy Faulkner, Lindsay Aaron, Randy Johnson, probably not, Kayla Sayaz, and Anthony Babb. I don't know how to pronounce that Spanish last name.
I've made $150 million. Here's $5 for these guys. Randy Johnson.
Right. That seems like him. He's a real dick.
He's a cheap twat, too. I've heard that. That's funny.
Katie Geigel, Katie Daly, Jesse Pittman, Becky Ann Braden, Brennan Avens, Bradley Powers, Hannah Patton, Jessica Niedinger, Victoria Nanawise, Jesus, Justin Bird, Kira McFarland, Jeff Dawson, that's Phil Stratton, Andrea Barfield, Enos Oliveira, Lowell Johnson, Bosley, Bacon, Hannah Souza, Morgan Hannon, Simona Rice, Amber Swain, Madeline and Tim Pahosky, Pamela Lewis, Benjamin Grundy, Mickey Kerr, Lisa Bartle, Seymour Butts. Are you proud of yourself? Andrew Siepka, Shane Meyer, Becky Stelma Chakowski, Jenna Cappers, Cindy Schmidt, Reese Guidoni, maybe. Tim K. Brooke with no last name.
That's great.
Kelsey Hamilton, Kelly Anderson, John Clancy, probably not. That's the writer, right? It was John Clancy?
I think so. Tom Clancy. I don't know. Tom Clancy.
Tom, that's right. Steve Bachler, Emma Cassidy, Alicia Pillmore, Jen Norwood, Nicole Albertson, Brandon Boz Oliver, Mamegi, J.M. Arthur Sabatino, Shelby Teep, I don't know, Greg Zambelli, Jill with no last name, Shanette Jelleberg, oh boy, Sherry Battle, Scarlet Horbeast, Aaron Contreras, Heather Dazowitz, Joe with no last name, Becky Guther, oh Christ, Sharessa Smith, Jennifer Meyer, Misa Park, Kenan Herrick, Daryl with no last name, Victoria Brook, James Futch, Alex Jones Schmegma. All right. Julio Tovar Jr.
Julio, thank you.
Mac with no last name. Thomas Smith, Kaylin Hull, Vicky Welling, Broke Bitch, Gino Santangelo, Bridget Thompson, Jamie Smothers, Kim Watson, Lori Hanks, Ross Jenkins, Hazel Basil, Ben McLean, Linda Henning, Tyler Weigel, Amora Mayo Perez, Christopher Creeder, that's Craig Stevens, John Ashford. What? That's somebody too. Marianne Coons, Caroline Swain, Jerry Danjuma, Ditzy Nitzers, no name at all. Katie Zanowski, Jennifer Rhodes, Joseph McBride, Devin Rudolph, Brady Morrison.
John Ashcroft, by the way,
nailed it,
George W. Bush's Attorney General. Yeah, there you go. Sorry.
Brandy Wietrowski. Did I say Brady Morrison? I don't know. Corey Gadapi? What? That can't be right. Lisa Almadea Evolve. Almadea Hills? Almeida, I don't know. Daniel Felipe, Andrew Stanton, Jesse Coffin, Chris with no last name, Laura Tholen, Eric, that's Vance, Kessler, Aaron Dunn, Aoife Booker, oh boy, Pam Smith, Gia Bobadilla. Nope, that's not what it says either. Cindy McDonald, Mike Ocken, what? Mike Ocken Uranus. Are you proud of yourself? You son of a bitch. I have enough fucking hard time without these. Lizard Space Cadet Jake Friedman, Samantha Imlay, Bon Goodell, Matty Ice 69, okay, Michelle Denny, Thomas Henry, Rosalind Cassidy, Cody Cheney, Marcus Reiger, Trent Perry, Stevie with no last name, Anna King, Astor with no last name, Marcelo with no last name, Kylan Scott, Big Sexy Peanut from the Panhandle, Mitchell Rodriguez, Audrey N, Walker Washburn, Ryan Sherman, Perrian with no last name, and also Renee with no last name, but also all of our patrons. You guys are the greatest people. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, so much. So much from the bottom of our hearts. Honestly, we really appreciate everything that everybody does.
People.
You magnificent bastards. You are. You're fantastic, and we're just really, really thankful, and we hope you love the bonus episodes as much as we like making them. So that said, Jimmy, what if they wanted to get a hold of you and call you a magnificent bastard? How do they find you?
You may call me whatever you like on Twitter and Instagram at Wisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on both of those. What about you?
Well, then, you can find me at Jimmy P is Funny, or you can just look up Small Town Murder Hosts, and we're going to pop up. No one else hosts the show. We're going to pop up, and you can find us that way and find our social media that way. Probably the easier way to do it, if I'm being honest. Yeah. So do that, find us, and keep coming back every week. We're going to have Crazy Story next week, and then next week, and then next week after that. So keep coming back, because we will. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.